on the school day. All right, y'all, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach this day. We pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. Come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, she said, Lee says, I don't have the car key. He said, whoa, that come out. So if one come in his own name, you say, and she done threw me all the way out, because that was funny. Because I heard her voice. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to start that all over again. You know what I'm saying? John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Well, all praise and esteem to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahusha. Amen, Brother Craig. Shalom, man. Shalom, Brother Marlon. Let's get this Acts 28:23. And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into lodging. So found and testified to Malkufa Alahym, persuaded them concerning Yahusha, both out of the law of Moses and the prophets, from morning till evening. Some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. And when they agreed not among themselves, they departed after that Paul had spoken one word, well spake the Ruach HaKadosh by Isaiah the prophet unto our fathers, saying, go unto this people and say, hearing you shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and not perceive. For the heart of this people wax gross, their ears dull of hearing, their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with eyes and hear with ears and understand with heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Be it known therefore unto you that the salvation of Alahym is sent unto the Gentiles, and they will hear it. And when they heard these words, the Yahudim departed and had great reasoning among themselves. And Paul dwelt 2 whole years in his own hired house, and received all that came in unto him, preaching, shalom, brother Ellis, preaching the Malkufa Alahym, and teaching those things which concern the Lord Yahusha HaMashiach with all confidence, no man forbidding him. Since he referenced it, man, Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 1. Damn it, man. Oh, let me get a paper towel there, brother. Yeah, that ain't gonna do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? That nigga just exploded out of nowhere. Oh. Ain't a man. I might need another. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, she's a little moist. Warm.
Preferably warm.
Yeah, definitely is, man. Shalom, man. Keep saying that for out there. I'm supposed to get my hair done tomorrow. I supposed to got it done yesterday, but they called it back into work. So we're gonna get what it is. Make it easier for her. You know what I'm saying? Paul, you blow it out, it's easier for her to comb. You know what I'm saying? Because my hair knotted. He draw up quick. I'm trying to tell you. Go ahead, Isaiah 61.
In the year that King Uzziah died, I also saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims, each one had 6 wings. He covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another and said, Kadosh, 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 Yahuwah of hosts, the whole earth full of his esteem.
That's right.
And the post of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I, a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, Yahuwah of hosts.
That's right.
Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand.
What is for?
He had taken with the tongue from off the altar, and he laid upon my mouth and said, lo, this hath touched your lips, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin purged.
Notice that we talked about that. I think that was in the law, what them coals on the altar. But get Matthew chapter 3, man. Tell me what verse 8 say. Because he said this, that heat from that coal was going to purge your punishment. Listen to it.
Say, bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance.
Do what?
Bring forth therefore fruits meet for
Pause.
repentance.
Now we were talking about Proverbs 18 and 21, right? What Proverbs 18 and 21 said? All the church ladies like to tell you about it. Proverbs 18 and 21. Read it for them.
It said, death and life and the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Tell them what love is, man.
Love is a heart.
So that what you love, you're gonna do what with the fruit?
It said you're gonna eat the fruit thereof.
You're gonna eat the fruit thereof. Why is that important? What it's called? Romans chapter 6. You can give me verse 10.
It says, for in that he died unto sin once.
He died unto sin how many times?
Once.
3 times.
Once.
2 times.
Once.
Okay.
But in that he lived and lived unto Alahym.
So that's the Shalom wrote. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the key point, what you got to understand. Because clearly we're doing that today. So by the grace of the Lord, that get worked in. You know what I'm talking about? You can give him verse 1 on general principle. I tie it back to the law just on the house.
What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace abound?
What shall we what?
What shall we say then?
What shall we what?
Shall we say then?
Shall we continue in what?
Sin.
That what?
Grace may abound.
That's right.
Alahym forbid.
Pause. He say that what? That grace might what?
Abound.
So that mercy might abound. He say, should you do that? Now let's sit back and look at an example of where that's at in the text. Y'all know where I'm going. Yahusha son of Nun, chapter 24, verse 12. Yahusha son of Nun, chapter 24, verse 12.
And I sent the hornet before you, which drave them out from before you, the 2 kings of the Amorites, not with your sword, nor with your bow. And I have given you a land for which you did not labor, cities which you built not, and you dwell in them, of the vineyards and olive yards which you planted, not do you eat. Now therefore fear Yahuwah, serve him in sincerity and in truth.
Serve him in what?
Sincerity and truth.
Serve him in what?
Sincerity and truth.
So you know that's Tamim and Amad. Serve him in perfected faithfulness. That's what he was telling them. Let your faithfulness be perfected. See, we can talk all that other stuff. If your faithfulness ain't perfected, you're not going to be able to serve him. Just because he said it, it's in an epistle letter. All right, we ain't talked about it in a while, so screw it. 1 Corinthians 5 and 3. I think it's the right place. 1 Corinthians 5 and 3.
It say, know ye not that we shall judge Malachim?
I think I got you. So keep on going. My bad, brother. That's 6.
For I verily, as absent in the body, but present in Ruach, judged already.
He said he absent where?
In the body.
But he present where?
In the Ruach.
You know what that means? The same way that you was absent from out of Egypt, but present with Yahuwah. You separated from the flesh, but you live in the Ruach. That's all they're telling you. Come on with it.
It says, have judged already, as though I were present, him that have so done his deed, deed.
Go ahead.
In the name of our Master Yahusha HaMashiach, when ye are gathered together, and my Ruach with the power of our Master Yahusha HaMashiach, to deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the Ruach may be saved in the day of our Master Yahusha.
Who can tell me where you can find that at in the script? Read that again, because it's there. It's an example. Read that verse again.
It says, in the name of our Master Yahusha HaMashiach, then ye are gathered together in my Ruach with the power of our Master Yahusha HaMashiach.
That's right.
To deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh.
To deliver such a one as Satan for the destruction of the flesh. But for what else?
That in the Ruach may be saved.
But in the Ruach that they might be saved. Where you can find an example of that at? Because it's one.
Job.
That is Job. Job, how do we know that? What did the book say Job sinned war? He was righteous in his own eyes. You know what I'm talking about? So he was destroyed. He was given over to Satan, was he not? Was he not destroyed in the flesh that he could live through the Ruach? That's where he get that from. That's where he get that from. That's where he making that statement. That's your scriptural reference. That's what we talking about with understanding, because you can see that and you can say, you know what? Job was given over to the devil. But what's the one thing Yahuwah told Satan that he couldn't do to Job? Couldn't kill him. He said you could do everything else, but you can't kill him. He said spare his life. You know what I'm talking about? So he was given over, and guess what? He gave him over to the adversary for his perfection. And you can see that with Yahusha, because Yahusha was given over to the adversary, and it was for his perfection. If you want to see where you can read that at in the text, let's get Genesis 49 and 16, and let's run that.
It said, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Yasharal. Dan shall be as a serpent by the way and an adder in the path. that biteth the horse heels, so that the rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation.
You say I waited for your what?
Salvation. O Yahuwah.
Now, y'all know what that is, right? When he said he an adder, by the way, right? Shalom, Brother Reynolds. Think about that. You remember when he said, who y'all looking for in John 18? In John 13, who it said entered into Judas? And he said, what you go do it what? And he judged himself to be one of the 12 tribes of Israel or one of the apostles, did he not? But he was a serpent and an adder, by the way. That's all that's talking about. Not that Dan ain't a tribe. That's bad dope. That's bad teaching. That's why a lot of people had contention when you come back around and you see Dan got a gate, and then nobody can explain to you why Dan got a gate. You can't read nowhere he got rid of them. Give me the definition of judge in that verse while we there, man. Shalom, Brother Mike, man.
That's his name. Dan.
Just Dan. Because Dan just means judge.
Yeah, to rule, to contend, to execute, to judge, to minister judgment.
To render judgment, to rule or contend. So guess what? Judas can judge that he would be a ruler. You understand the apostles are rulers, right? Did he not say they would sit on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Yasharal? That means they a ruler. See, man, niggas dumb. I ain't got no other way to put it. You know what I'm saying? I really ain't got no other way to put it. These niggas is trash, man. They butthole. It's Babbage. It's Bobby Brown. Reggie Miller. Cut cocaine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? No, you want no Reggie Bush because you might want you know what I'm saying? Regular Bush, you know what I'm saying? You might like that. You might be into that. You know what I'm saying? No. Some people like a landing strip, some people like a forest. You know what I'm talking about? Look at this nigga here. Honestly, I like them all. It made me shoot. I like mine ball. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It's all black. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Come on back to 1 Corinthians 5, man. Tell them what verse you stopped at.
I'm not messing with you, man.
I'm talking about Johnny off in the cut looking like a nigga uncle who just got out of jail and he got a job at the call center.
5 and 5.
Let me say, shoot, what they paying me 17.
You like that nigga off the commercial.
They paying me. You know what I'm talking about? They paying me. I sell that soda. Shoot, they be like, you drink soda? Hell no. What you selling me to me for? You were gonna drink it whether I did it or not. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they used to tell him. What you sell drugs? Yeah, I sell it. How you gonna kill your own people? This nigga was gonna smoke crack whether I was here or not. He was smoking before I got here. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't like I told him, come get this crack. He came looking for me.
Where's that?
You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen nobody go looking for bases. You know what I'm talking about? You just go where the bases congregate at. They'll find you. You know what I'm talking about? You definitely like you was out there. He was in that. He was in the house selling the nigga tray bags. He from New York, so you know they don't want to sell the nigga. Nigga, I got the tray bags. Nigga. He know about it. He know what I'm talking about. Johnny know what I'm talking about. But in New York, niggas say you next to nothing. What you gonna do with a tray bag? Nigga?
You gotta mix that with something.
Yeah, they were mixing it with crack. They would take the tray bag and mix it with the blue top. You know what I'm talking about?
That makes sense.
Yeah, boy, that's why I put all girls out there, man. Come on, man.
We had 5 and 6.
1 Corinthians 5 and 6.
It says, your esteem not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaven the whole lump?
A little what?
A little leaven leaven the whole lump. Purge out therefore the old leaven.
Purge out the who?
The old leaven.
Purge out the who?
The old leaven.
Okay.
That ye may be a new lump.
A new what?
A new lump.
Go ahead.
As ye are unleavened.
You are on what?
Unleavened.
On what?
Unleavened.
That means you born again. Come on.
For even the Mashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast.
Keep the who?
Keep the feast.
If it's a feast, that means it's an appointed time.
Not with the old leaven.
Not with that old man.
Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Same thing that he said, right? That's what he was trying to tell them coming up out of Egypt. Man, keep this thing in perfected faithfulness on these appointed time. Man, Quran say he got his sons with him for the first time to get this work. You say praise the Lord. Come on, where you was at before? That's all I wanted. Oh, yeah. Yahusha, son of Noon, chapter 24. Verse, 12, 13?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah, James, 1. Sit it on down, son. Sit it on down.
And I have given you a land for which you did not labor, cities which you built not, and you dwell in them, of the vineyards and olive yards which you planted, not do you eat. Now therefore fear Yahuwah and serve him in sincerity and in truth.
That's right.
Put away the gods which your fathers served.
Put away the who?
The gods.
Put away the who?
The gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood.
I mean, we talked about this here, man. Your forefathers were not serving Yahuwah in Egypt. They weren't. If anybody tell you that, they lying to you. How your forefathers were serving Yahuwah in Egypt, and the man who knew Yahuwah died, and Pharaoh didn't remember him. So how you expect his descendants to remember? No, they weren't. They were living in Egyptian society as Egyptians. Well, it said they were groaning out to Yahuwah. No, it said they groaned, and Yahuwah heard their groan and had respect unto it or acknowledged it. That's what it said. They were groaning by reason of the oppression, and the time was up. Bro asked this question earlier, right? How you know when the end comes? It's two things let you know when it's over. No, not specific. But when the mystery of Alahym is finished, and when the iniquity of the Amorites is full, as it say in Genesis 15, they got to fill up their cup to the full. See, sometimes we be so focused on when we gonna leave that you ain't focusing on, well, these men got to fill these people cup up. These people got to get a full measure of wrath. It's his desire. Now, when they were talking, they brought to mind something that we didn't talk about before. And I say it once, and I'll say it again. Well, you want this man to take as long as he possibly can. I promise you, dude. I understand that the world disgusts you and angers you, and because the book say that. You know what I'm talking about? The world vexed the righteous man. So ain't it what it said about lie? Get it for him, man. 2 Peter chapter what? Chapter 2. Yeah, tell me what 2 and 1 Peter chapter 2, man. Tell me what verse 5 says. Don't get me wrong, right? Because I know you tired of these people, you ready to slide. But remember, I mentioned it because we read the verse last night and Wednesday. He said, man, don't count this man long suffering as slackness. His long suffering is so as many as possible can come to repentance. Because I'm telling you, because we didn't talk about this a couple years ago. You know, Bruce be ready to slide, you want him to come back. Boy, that man come back and you ain't right, you dying, boy. You going to hell. He ain't gonna care nothing about, but I prayed for you to come back. He's gonna be like, I don't know what you did that for. You should have asked me to take my time. If the man come back and you ain't right, you're going to hell, man. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why you want him to take all the time that he needs. Remember, he said the day of Yahuwah is a day of darkness and not light. It's like the day a man ran away from a lion, got met by a bear, put his hand on the wall, got bit by a serpent. He said, what you even looking forward to that day for? Yeah, you ain't gonna look forward to that. It's gonna hurt your feelings, especially if you're on the wrong side of that swole. Come on with it.
He said, spare not the old world, but save Noah, the eighth, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
Ashes,
condemned with an overthrow, making an example unto those that should live ungodly, and deliver just Lot.
Just Lot, righteous Lot.
Vexed with the filthy conversation.
He was vexed at the conduct of the who?
Of the wicked.
That's right. Yeah, man. I understand. But boy, you want this man to take his time, boy. I promise you that. You want that man to take his time. That you could be perfected and sealed. Because boy, if you ain't sealed, boy, that man's, guess what? Get Ezekiel 8 for Ezekiel 9. Whichever one it is, man. We told him, boy, go swinging them swole. He said, go swing them swole. Yeah, give me 9 and 1, man. That boy said, go swing them swoles, man. Swing them swoles, man.
He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying,
say what?
Cause them that have charge over the city to draw near.
Come on close to me.
Even every man his destroying weapon in his hand.
Had that fire in your hand.
And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lie toward the north.
That's right.
And every man a slaughter weapon in his hand.
Come on.
And one man among them clothed with linen.
Hey, boy, sit down and stop playing with that.
with the writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. And the esteem of Alahym and Yahshua was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which the writer's inkhorn by his side.
Come on.
And Yahuwah said unto him, go through the midst of the city.
Go through the where?
Midst of the city.
Go through where?
Midst of the city.
Where he told him to start at?
Through the midst of Jerusalem. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations.
He said, set a mark for those that what?
Sigh and cry
for all the who?
Abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in my hearing, go you after him through the city and
do
smite.
What? And do what?
And smite.
Kill him.
Let not your eyes fear, neither have you pity.
Don't have no mercy on him.
Slay utterly old and young.
Old and young.
Both maids and little children.
Young women and little kids.
And women, but come not near any man upon whom the mark.
And boy, if you ain't sealed, that man coming to kill you, boy. I promise to you, you don't want that man come around that corner.
And begin at my sanctuary.
And start at my house.
Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
That's good. That's why he tell you if judgment start at the house of Alahym, where will the righteous and the wicked scarcely be found? Man, people playing game, man. That man ain't playing no game, man. You got to be sealed, boy. You ain't sealed, boy. You good as gone. You good as gone. You ain't sealed by no law, man. You ain't sealed by being no Israelite, boy. You ain't sealed, boy. That man cut your whole dome off. Then he gonna kill you, wake you up, and kill you again. Yeah, man. That wasn't gonna happen. Where you was at for that? We good as Joshua. I don't need that no more.
We was in Romans too.
Yeah, I need Romans though. You can read 6 and 1 and go back to 10. That's what we went to look at Yahusha son of Nun for because of verse 1, but you can read it again.
Yes. It said, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
God said no.
How shall we that are dead in sin live any longer therein?
How if you dead to sin, you're going to live in sin? See, now pause, right? Because my man today asked a good question. This is a question that all of you should be able to answer clearly and distinctly and succinctly if someone was to ask you this. The question that he asked, he said he was having a conversation with a brother, and he said he was saved. He said, how are you saved if we are still in this condition as a people in captivity? So if you told somebody you were saved, how would you respond to them? I want to hear how each of you would respond. Look at this person. I'm at 2:30 Civic in 1 minute, man. Tell me how you would respond to that question.
John 3:16.
That's how you respond to that question. So what did he save you from, sir? You gonna say God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. He wants to know, what are you saved from?
Oh, sin and death. I mean, from death.
How did that happen?
By Yahusha sacrificing himself.
This guy here. You okay, because that's not what you do. Because somebody who's a little bit more of a douchebag will come at you a little bit more stronger than that. But that's not your fault, because that's not your forte. How would you answer that question, sir? Hold on. You got 1 minute.
The answer?
Yeah.
I would just say I've been saved from the
Shalom, Jake.
I've been saved from the punishment of my sin, who having the spirit to defeat my flesh.
Quran say saved us from the curse of sin and death. Very well. How would you answer that question, sir? Saved from Kadeem say saved from the power of sin ruling over us. And those are not wrong answers. You know, I'm a little bit more anal retentive than others. So I'm coming for a first round knockout. I'm not mad at y'all for that. I really be wanting to give you the information to where you might feel like, nigga, I'm Mike Tyson in his prime. I'm not going to play with you. Now, that's different because he wasn't asking that question in a I'm trying to trip you up type of manner. He was asking that question in a sincere fashion. Because that statement is said a lot, I'm saved, I'm saved. And, of course, you know, a lot of people come from the Christian perspective, and then they looking at that, oh, what are you saved from? We still in captivity, only because the only salvation thing that is really ever mentioned is
Got your little.
You know, UCLA say, hey man, we got a catalog for you. Ain't nothing in here I'm gonna grab.
Until you open it and look.
No. I can get that from anywhere. Already on that. It's just training clothes, man. They ain't selling what a nigga really want. That's an authentic football jersey. We don't do no replicas. No screen prints. Unless it's from that era and it was screen printed. Mother Sharona said we have to endure to overcome. Uncle Johnny. So that's how y'all here look. And he got a taco meat out. That nigga don't never have no. That nigga feeling this the other day. That nigga always have his shirt buttoned up to the top. Why don't you say stop? Come on, she say stop being so stuffy. Let loose. That ain't never stopped you before. That nigga out here with his knees out. Well, that nigga Asian, boy, that nigga turned into a real father, not a daddy, a father. Hey, that nigga be at the cookout with the father sandals on. He ain't gonna be grilling nothing though. What would you say if somebody asked you that question?
I'd never say saved from sin, but then also just saved from death.
Now, see, none of the answers is wrong, but what I always told you before, usually when you talking to somebody, you want to be about 4 to 8 precepts deep in your mind to fully and clearly. That's why I said specifically, distinctly, and succinctly be able to explain your position to the point that 99.9% of the time is there wouldn't be any point of contention. Now, whether the person agrees or not is a different conversation, but they would be able to understand that you fully have a strong grasp on why your stance is your stance. You understand what I'm saying? Because none of y'all said anything wrong, but as I told you before, it's generic. You know what I'm talking about? Usually, and like I said, that brother not like that, but usually individuals are asking questions for the purpose of debate to trip you up in the midst of your speech.
I want to kind of start a little light. You get too heavy, and then it might go over the head.
I don't care if it go over your head. It's the same way that when we had caught little buddy out there, the GMS nigga. I'm not playing with you. Boom! Right in your mouth, nigga. Find you somebody to play with. Now that's different. The brother I'm talking about, he want to have a discourse. You don't come at him like that. You know what I'm talking about? You have to. No, that wasn't crazy. Punch this nigga in his mouth. You know what I'm talking about?
I was talking to her one time, and I was explaining to her how we are bride, Yahusha bride. She was just like, a man can't be a wife, a man can't be a bride. Like, hey, it wasn't clicking for her.
It wasn't for her. He that is of Alahym hears Alahym's words. You hear them not because you're not an Alahym. That wasn't for you. You know what I'm talking about? Little children, you know what I'm saying? If they are the world, then the world will hear them. It is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? But you got to understand, right? Indeed, like he just said, all things are pure to those that are pure. You got to realize who you're talking to. Like the brother who asked this question when he was referring to a conversation he had with someone. He's not coming like maybe these niggas is on Clubhouse looking for a squabble. You know what I'm saying? Let me say you got mad squabbles, boy. That's what they looking for. Man, the first thing that I tell a nigga is your first mistake is that you act like that there wasn't a covenant before Sinai and that there wasn't an issue for deliverance before Sinai. If you think that only part of salvation is before Sinai, then I need you to go look at Psalm 66 when he told you that I'm going to deliver you from the issues of death. The issues of death ain't got nothing to do with no covenant that he made with him on Sinai. You know where the issues of death at. So we're going to go to Adam. And Adam, we all die. And guess what? That's what I'm delivered from. You know why? Because if I walk in joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, and meekness, there is no law. So if there is no law, then there is no sin. If there is no sin, then I cannot die. That's what I'm saved from. I'm going to holler at you, bro. And I'm out. I'm not even going to play with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit you across your head. And I'm going to go about my business. Because all that tells me is when you ask me that question, 99.9% of the time, I know that you don't have a strong understanding of the text. Because if your mind automatically goes to the captivity of the people, then you forgot about the precarious position that we are in dealing with Adam in the beginning. Because before he made a promise to Abraham, you already had a problem. And you're not concerned with that problem. Then you just generally forsaken what went down with the flood. You're forsaking all these points. See, at the end of the day, we don't never really want to look at what the problem has been and has always been, and that's the sin that rests in the hearts of man. And because sin rests in the heart of man, then sin keep man away from God. You know what I'm talking about? Because I can look at you and tell you, brother, I'm free. How you free? You in captivity. I'm not in bondage, my nigga. These people ain't making me stay here. You can go anywhere you want to go. But what have we always looked at when you see what does the Hebrew word of captivity mean? It means exile. It means separation, not literal bondage. So I know that if I'm free from sin, I can't be captive because I'm not separate from Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? I don't give a damn about no man ruling over me, bro. God rule over me. I don't care about that. I'm not worried about these people. At the same token, I understand why you are worried about these people because of the wicked things that they like to participate in, and it vexes your soul. So it's a I don't want to say balance, you know what I'm talking about? But you got to weigh it in the balance with a just weight and a just measure on how you view both situations and circumstances. Because you don't want to be up under these people because these people sour. But you also know you're free in Yahuwah, so you don't care about these people at the same time. Because the wicked gonna wicked. You know what I'm saying? But in due time, what did your law say? They foot gonna slide. They foot gonna slide. Like I say, it's a delicate, you know what I'm talking about? Because I see it from my perspective, I see it from everybody else's perspective too, man. I'm sick of these people. But also our perspective is only from America. These people is, I guarantee you, boy, them people overseas 10 times as wicked as people over here is. 10 times as wicked. See, we believe everybody in the East living upright. I don't know why you believe that. I don't know why you believe that. You ever met a foreigner nigga? Them niggas nasty. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Niggas nasty. Huh? He said don't bathe. I ain't talking about not bathing. But I ain't talking about that nasty. I'm talking about nasty spirits. How you gonna have a clean spirit and you worship idols? Because everybody overseas worship idols. Everybody overseas worship idols. You don't think they puffing on Peters overseas? You don't think they carpet munching overseas? You don't think they whore mouth? Come on, man. You can go to the Netherlands, man, and you can just go pick up a prostitute in a bag of weed like it's nothing. Nah, but it's legal. You can't walk down no street and look at a prostitute and some glass in America and say, I want that one. You can't do that in Vegas. They ain't got no holes in the windows.
Escort service.
Boy, the Netherlands, boy, they got holes in the windows.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I mean, that's a brothel. Though they got a brothel. I mean, they used to have him on. The white dude, he dead now. That's the place where Lamar Odom died smoking all that crack. Hmm? Yeah, the Bunny Ranch. That's what they called it. That's where he was at when he OD. I ain't gonna say they OD because you can't OD on crack. Somebody killed him. Yeah, he was medically dead.
Yeah, he didn't die.
No, he was medically dead.
But he's not. He's alive.
He's alive now. I mean, it's a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that continue medically dead if you flatline. And he flatlined.
He's alive.
A couple times. But you don't flatline smoking crack. You know what I'm talking about?
Allegedly.
Yeah, you don't flatline smoking crack. You can't smoke enough crack to OD.
Allegedly.
I sold crack for a long time, boy. You can't smoke crack in OD. All you're gonna do is like, I can't hit it no more. I'm too high. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put it down. That don't even hit your bloodstream. How you gonna OD on smoke?
Underlying health condition.
That boy say underlying health condition.
Niggas who died from COVID. Niggas want to die from COVID. I'm from underlying health condition.
Well, I'm telling you, crack and marijuana, you can't OD on that. Now, cocaine, you gonna OD on that. You gonna OD on that. I don't know what the reference of your verses is, man. If you wanted to be elucidated on, you got to give me a little context. If not, you just throwing random verses at me. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's what he doing. But yeah, it's a balance, bro. Cause these people going down, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like good gas. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Frazier against Ali, man, back in the day. They going down. But guess what? You know how long that fight between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier was? That was a 15-round thriller. You understand how long? They don't even fight 15-round fights no more. That's why them niggas all punch drunk and had, you know what I'm saying? Well, that's fighting for 45 minutes and these men didn't stop. Heavyweight. Nigga punch hard like concrete. You know what I'm saying? That's right. It's a marathon, man. It take time, man. This thing got to take time. What he said in that Genesis 15, he said the sins of Babylon, I mean, in Revelation, right? And in Isaiah 47. He said they sins done came up to heaven. And then what it said in Sodom and Gomorrah, that means y'all done did enough. So now it's time for me. This wrath is justified now. The wrath was justified for the first sin. But before I come through here and crack your head, I want you to mount it up. And then what people don't be understanding. He want that word to go out so that they can openly reject it to continue to fill up the cup of his wrath so he can bash them across their head. You know what I'm saying? See, we forgetting that part of it. He want the rejection, so when I come through it, you're going to be like, you know what? You was right for that. We were so out of pocket. Yeah, man, praise you, man. You got to do them like that, man. The people need to be punched in their face. Yeah, they need it, man. You know what I'm talking about? Where you at, Steve?
Here's in Romans 6.
Yeah, come on, Romans 6.
Walking it back down to 10.
Mm-hmm.
We at 3.
3.
Know ye not that so many of us were baptized into Yahusha HaMashiach, were baptized under his death?
Baptized into his what?
His death.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore we are buried with him by baptism unto
right.
death. That like as the Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of the Father, which the Father, even so we also should walk in newness of life.
You should walk in what?
Newness of life.
What we talked about last night, man. He said he make all things what? New. And if you make all things new, then former things aren't what? No, they not remembered. You don't remember? See, pause. Get that Isaiah 65 and 17 one more time. Get me Ezekiel, man, 11 and what it is. 11, 20. Give me 11 and 17. And after that, give me John chapter 3. And after that, give me Ephesians 4 and 17. You know what I'm saying? I'll remind you, if possible. Go ahead.
For behold, I create a new Shamahim and a new earth.
Isaiah 65 and 17. He created a new what?
New heaven and a new earth.
A new what?
New heaven and a new earth.
And the what?
Former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
If we're dealing with the new heaven and the new earth, what would that be representative of if you want to take that and look at that as a man's body? What is the earth? It's what? It's dust. So you looking at it as that's the heart or the flesh of man. You look at the new heavens, you looking at that as that's the ruach of man. You know what I'm talking about? Because it comes from the ma'im, if you would. And that's just a little bit more perspective, if you would. So Ezekiel 11, 17.
It says, therefore say, thus says Yahuwah Alahym, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where you have been scattered.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you the land of Yasharal.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall come there, and they will take away all the detestable things thereof, and all the abominations thereof from them. And I will give them one heart.
Give them what?
One heart.
One what?
One heart.
One leb. If he giving you one leb, he giving you his mind, not your mind, not the next man's mind, his mind. He gonna give you all. This is the thing that we have to understand. Just because you an Israelite don't mean he gave you his mind. We talked about that last night, loosely, if we did, if you would. Come on with it.
A new heart.
A new what?
One heart, and I will make them a new ruach.
And a new what?
A new ruach.
And what else?
Within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of their flesh, and I will give them a heart of flesh, that they may walk in my statutes, keep my ordinances to do them, and they will be my people, and I will be their Alahym.
Give me Ezekiel 18 and 20. Then after that, Ephesians 4 and 17. Listen to it.
The soul that sinned, it shall die.
The soul that what?
That sinned, it shall die.
Go ahead.
The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son.
Mm-hmm.
The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he have committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die.
He ain't gonna die.
All his transgressions that he have committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him.
He said, I ain't gonna mention it to you.
And
You see how he say that you put sin to death to walk this and newness of life? Because I'm not gonna remember that. Remember, he say, I'll take your transgressions as a thick cloud and blot them out. I won't remember them no more. He look at me, let me tell you something. I mentioned John chapter 3 also. He said, you ain't gotta get it now. He said, know you that you must be what? Born of the water and of the ruach. He say, marvel not that I said you must be born again. That which is flesh, and that which is ruach is ruach. What he's telling you in the aspect of being born again is really what the Bruce like to say, man, you got to rehearse the righteous acts. That's what they like to tell you. Man, being born again is like you rehearsing creation all over again. I'm going to create you by a different word. You got to realize something. The first Adam was created by a word. The second Adam was created by a different word. What did we talk about last night? The first heaven and earth was created by a word. The new heaven and new earth is created by a different word. So if you're born again, you representative of a new heaven and new earth. Why? Because former things are not remembered. Old things are passed away. You know what I'm talking about? He said, you were the nature of the children of wrath, as were others. But you've been justified, but you've been sanctified in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. See, a lot of people don't realize that. So when you turn around and say, yeah, man, I'm saved from the issues of death. Well, how are you saved from the issues of death? I have a new heart and a new spirit. I don't remember all that. Yeah, I used to sit in the house and watch porn and look at the lotion and say, you're better than this. I don't live like that anymore. I used to sit and look at niggas and lie for the sake of lying. Amen, Brother Craig. I would go out here and have sex with as many women as possible. I've been told you that, whether you in the word or not. If you think your manhood tied by how many women you can have sex with, you a sucker. You know what I'm talking about? You a real sucker. You were living like a sucker. How you living like a sucker? Because you let another man influence you to believe that the greatness of your manhood was tied to your loins. You know what I'm talking about? Do you not even understand the low level of thinking that take for you allow the man to tell you that your manhood was tied to your loins? Hell, you done let a nigga deceive you and tell you your manhood is tied to you getting a wife, as if once you get a wife, you complete as a man. That's not what he said about Adam. Adam was complete and whole when he was made. He said he went with, Adam didn't say he was alone. He said it wasn't good for him to be alone. I'm going to give him somebody to assist him on what he going to do. As a man, you ain't never supposed to be nobody's help me unless it's Yahuwah. You ain't supposed to be no help me. You know what I'm saying? Not to no woman. You a damn fool if you do that. You done forgot what your job is. That means you're going to be too busy following her than to be following God. That's why you ain't supposed to be no woman help me. How you going to follow God and follow her? You ain't going to be able to do that. That means your desire to your wife. Ain't the book say your desire supposed to be to her husband? Ain't it say he supposed to rule over her? So that means you walking in the opposite turn. That means God don't rule over you. Men do. No, that ain't the way you want to go. That's not a disparage no woman. We talking about the mindset, man. Thinking like that. You want God to rule over you. Didn't the man say, order my steps in your word? Direct me here, direct me there. You can't do that and you somebody's help me. Because when she say go, you gonna go. Ain't that what the Roman centurion said? I'm a man under what? Authority. He said, I tell a man to go and he what? I tell a man to come and he what? So guess what, man? I get a word, people move. You can't be, so that means if your woman get a word and you move, guess what she is? You under her authority. That means you her help me. That means Genesis 3 backwards in your mind. That ain't no way to live. Not if you say you want to serve God. Now, if you don't want to serve God, it don't matter. I mean, it matters, but that's a different conversation. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, brother Francis. Because, you know, I seen another clip, nigga, these people going just off the rails. Because dudes were talking about, you know, women can't preach and all that type of stuff. I'm like, why y'all arguing? Man, if that hoe want to preach, let her preach. Because I'm going to tell you something. Ain't a godly woman walking want to preach no word. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you. Ain't no godly woman walking want to do that. You know why? Because she know that you're going to have to give account for everything you talk out your mouth. She'd rather stay in her lane and do her job. See, it's only the bald-headed scallywags who hate male authority and want some type of esteem and praise that want to facilitate that type of activity. It's only the ones who got penis envy and hate men that want to participate in that. Because they be under the guys, I'm doing it for the people because the man won't stand up. That man, look here, man. That man say, man, through the whole time of the book of Judges, it wasn't a single solitary king in the land. The people did that was right in their own eye. And get what? They was all out of pocket. Don't come at me talking about no Deborah, because I'm going to find a Deborah and hit you with it. That woman wasn't preaching no words. She was a judge. And if your silly behind don't know what a judge do, put the book down and close your mouth and find out. Junk don't be making no sense, man. I'm telling you, you ain't seen not one godly woman ever like this here. It's my desire. This is what they like to say. She just can't lead men in the congregation. Where you read that at? Where you read it at? You ain't read that nowhere. Or she could just teach the other women. That's the last thing you want her to do. Because here go the question. If the woman teaching the book, who taught her? Who taught her? Who gave her the commission to do it? You telling me she taught herself? Or you telling me Yahuwah taught her? So now you telling me she an apostle. That's what you telling me.
I just seen a woman say that on a post on Instagram. She was like, I wasn't taught by no man. I was taught by the Lord.
She was taught by Satan. That's who taught her. Because she ain't got no book for Yahuwah sitting down teaching no woman nothing. You got people who get offended if a man say, man, let me holler at your husband. They don't even understand that some people, I'm not finna sit down with you just because it'll look improper. But we had that conversation. A lot of people don't even know that, man. You see a nigga talking about, God taught me. It better just go ahead and get ready to walk away.
They could still in the comments arguing with her, though.
Yeah, they want to argue. They want to argue with it because they get in their mind that they can convince this woman to be a woman. You can't convince a bull dagger to be a woman. Because any woman who want to operate in the space of a man is a bull dagger, a dyke, a lesbian, a butch, a carpet muncher.
And somebody brought up the stuff for a woman out to teach. She's like, those ain't the Lord's words. That's Timothy said them. I meant the Lord's words. It's like, I don't ascribe to that.
Well, damn. Well, then how you going to ascribe? Well, what part you ascribe to? Because you ain't going to find it anywhere else in the text. I only say that is you got to learn to leave people alone.
Yeah. There's about 200 plus comments. I'm like,
especially a woman who made up her mind that this is how she gonna be. You got to go ahead and leave her alone and then let her live her life. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're not changing her mind. Let me ask y'all a question. You ever met a woman who sold coochie? I ain't being funny. I'm talking about seriously, like what she sold her body. You ever met that before? Man, you ever seen when people try to convince her not to do that? It wasn't the words you could say to her that could convince her that there was nothing wrong with her behavior. She had already been persuaded in her mind that she was correct, and she had 1,000,001 different fallacies to tell you of why it was nothing wrong with what she was doing. You can't do that. Man, look at man. Once a woman done made her mind up, bro, just go ahead and just let that alone. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and let that alone and adjust accordingly. I just mentioned that because look at man, ain't nobody more stubborn than a woman who sell her body. You know what I'm talking about? Whether it's stripping or prostitution, you can't tell her nothing.
She was saying that it's not a commandment from the Lord that a woman not to teach. She's like, that's just something he said as a suggestion.
That's what everybody say.
So she was like, that don't apply to me.
That's what everybody say, and that's when you look at him, you're right. It don't apply to you, and that's why you going to hell. Because see, it applies to those who are godly. That's what you got to remember. When a nigga tell me, oh, I don't ascribe to that, you're right. And he don't ascribe to you. You know what I'm saying? What that nigga used to say on this video, unsubscribe. That's what the Lord did to your soul. You unsubscribe. You know what I'm saying? Say no women priest, no women apostle, no women to cease to teach the word or open the book or teach anywhere in the book. It ain't nowhere in there. As a man, you would have to ask yourself, why would you want a woman in an authoritative position in your life on purpose? I ain't talking about going to get a job and she your manager. You know what I'm talking about? Going to get a job and she the owner. I'm talking about in your personal life. Why would you want a woman to have an authoritative position in your life? Unless you got your nuts clipped. Yeah, I know it. To teach you stupidity. That's what she wore. The first one to teach you how to be a jackass. Because she'll never be able to teach you how. I'm talking about for as men is concerned. She'll never be able to teach you how to be no man. You're going to be deficient. The only way you can become a man is to see a man. That's the only way you can become a man. You cannot become a man looking at a woman all day. What's that? A woman deferred teacher? What did she teach you? Niggas always say that. What the hell did she teach you? You know, next time you hear dudes say that, the woman deferred teacher. So what's the first thing she taught you about manhood? Then that'll stop the whole conversation. What's the principal thing she can teach you about manhood? She can't. She gonna tell you how to love and protect the woman from her selfish motivation. And I got a response for it. I got something for it. That's not a disparage. No, she can't teach you how to be no man, though, bro. Not no man that of any worth or value. She can't. Not because she's a horrible person. She doesn't have a point of reference. She's a woman. She doesn't have a point of reference. She don't have no point of reference. Where's she gonna refer from? She gonna refer from the men in her life of the elements that she liked, that she perceived this would make a great man. But if you really need to go be around that man, when you always look at elements of manhood in this society that's given to you from a woman's perspective, it is always things that benefit them. When you look at people, how they teach God, how they teach how God operates, it's always things that benefit them. And then when people say, God blessing me, you sin as the day is long. Every time they talk about Yahuwah, it's for people who not really in the word for real. Their perspective of him, everything he do, it benefit them personally, does it not? It's nothing that benefits Yahuwah. That's why I mentioned that, man. It's like a woman asking a man for advice on breastfeeding. How would we know? I wouldn't tell you that for what they say. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. I don't know nothing about that. I'm not an expert in that. I wouldn't be the one to come talk to. I wouldn't be able to talk to no little girl about her menstrual cycle coming on. I have no experience with that. You know what I'm saying? About the, one of the biggest things a woman teach her daughter is how to interact with a man. Is how she interact with her father, with that girl's father. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's one thing that a lot of women don't realize. The quality of what kind of wife your daughter gonna be is gonna be based off the quality of wife you are. If you suck as a wife, your daughter gonna be a horrible wife too. Because she watching you. So she going to see the deplorable aspects of your wifedom, and she going to say, well, shoot, this is what it's supposed to be. And that's why a lot of these women in this society wonder why they ain't got no husband. Like, marry you for what? And why is that important? Because we live in households where people interact with God incorrectly, and that's why when you come to get in the word, you don't know how to interact with it. Because your examples on how interacting with him were unfaithful, disobedient, rebellious, and unbelieving. So there's no way you're going to be able to interact with this man properly. Well, you all right, boy. You should have been doing what you're supposed to do. Come on, man. This one happened like what a couple weeks ago, boy. And I had just told them boy that earlier. You know one thing a man has to go through in life, period, pain. It's sometimes, boy, he got to fall on that bike and bust his head on the concrete. And if his head ain't split and he ain't leaking no blood, let that nigga suck that up and figure that out. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that you ain't there to assist him, but he got to know what that pain feel like and how to overcome that pain. I'm just using an extreme example, but sometimes, boy, you got to let that boy fall. He got to learn that. If he don't learn that young, he going to be a sucker when he grown. He got to go through that. Men are made and forged in the fire of adversity. You know what I'm talking about? He got to go through that. He need to go through that. And that's why the book say he took you through the fiery furnace. Because how you going to be a man of Alahym without that adversity? You got to go through it. It's needed. It's necessary. You can't become who you need to become without it. Go ahead, man. What's up, boy?
All his transgressions that he have committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him, and his righteousness that he have done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith Yahuwah Alahym? Not that he should return from his ways and live. But when the righteous turn away from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and do according to all the abominations that the wicked man do, shall he live. All his righteousness that he have done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he have trespassed, and in his sin that he have sinned, in them shall he die. Yet you say the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Yasharal.
Are my ways unequal?
Is not my way equal? Are not your ways unequal? When a righteous man turn away from his righteousness and commit iniquity and die in them, or his iniquity that he hath done shall he die. Again, when the wicked turn away from his wickedness that he hath committed and do that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive. Because he considered and turned away from all his transgressions that he hath committed, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Yet saith the house of Yasharal, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Yasharal, are not my ways equal? Are not your ways unequal?
What else?
Therefore I will judge you, O house of Yasharal, everyone according to his ways.
According to his what?
To his ways.
To his what?
To his ways.
To his way of life.
Saith Yahuwah Alahym, repent and turn from all your transgressions.
Cast away.
So iniquity shall not be your ruin.
Go ahead.
Cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby you have transgressed.
And make you a what?
A new heart.
I make you a new what?
A new heart.
And a new what else?
Ruach.
Go out.
For why will you die, O house of Yasharal?
That is important. If you don't make you one, then you're going to die because you're going to remember your former things and you're going to continue to behave that way. You're going to continue to operate that way. You're going to continue to operate in death, cleave to death, and you're going to receive death. Ephesians 4:17. What's up, boy?
It say, this I say therefore and testify unto the master that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles, walk in the vanity of their mind, having an understanding darkened and being alienated from
Their
life.
understanding was what?
Darkened.
What else?
Being alienated from the life of Alahym through the ignorance that is in them because of their blindness of their heart.
That's right.
Who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanliness with greediness. But ye have not so learned the Mashiach. If so be.
He said, if you not so what?
But you have not so learned the Mashiach.
He said, if you don't learn the Lord, he ain't taught you that. Let's turn to read that verse again.
It say, but ye have not so learned.
We'll back it up again.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who being in the past, feeling having given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanliness and greediness.
Pause. Lasciviousness, uncleanliness with greediness. Let's go ahead and give them lasciviousness, uncleanliness, and greediness in the Greek. What's up, boy? You standing up?
Aselgia, that is filthiness, licentiousness, wantonness.
That means you got a strong lust.
Unbridled lust.
Unbridled lust. See, we just want to act like only in America there's unbridled lust. Y'all done heard about what them nasty Arabs do in Dubai. What you think? You think because them people in Africa in the woods, they ain't got no unbridled lust? Because you seen a Nigerian nigga talking about we don't want, why are you gay? Don't you know if they drug a nigga out on TV to ask him that he was gay, is niggas undercover gay? If it's undercover faggots in America, what make you think it ain't undercover faggots in Africa? Niggas screaming, no, ain't no gay people in Africa. How you know? You asked everybody? You checked? You inspected? One thing about sin, boy, sin everywhere. One thing about ungodliness everywhere. If ain't no fear in the God in the land, then guess what? Booty holes getting touched. Whether young or old. Lies getting told. Idols getting worshipped. Bodies being killed because people killing. You know what the sad part is? And being a homosexual is bad. Niggas more focused on niggas being homosexual than being idolaters and murderers. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas more focused on that than people being covetous. But don't you know being a covetous man, boy, you the same as an idolater. And being covetous, it crosses a multitude of lines because you could covet another man's wife. You could covet another man's life. You could covet what he got. You could cover his status. You worry about a nigga touching nigga booty hole? Well, that's where murder come from. Covetous bring envy and jealousy. Envy and jealousy bring forth murder. Because before that murder get forth, you got to hate somebody. Now you done hated somebody without a cause, boy. So even before you pull the trigger, you already a murderer. Don't nobody want to talk about that. That's why you got to make you a new heart. I ain't never seen so many niggas focus on people who like booty holes so bad, man. We clown them because it's funny. It's you weird. But I ain't walking around here mad, nigga. Cause I know you going to hell. Because something wrong with you. I don't know how you can look at another man and say, that nigga cute. He sure is handsome. Hell, I don't understand as a man why you won't cut your nuts off and want to be a woman talking deep as James Earl Jones. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga, come on, man. I don't understand that. You a woman, you want to be a man. You know what I'm talking about? It's already, it's something mentally wrong with these people. But see, I want to talk about, I already know that's a different unbridled lust. See, I was looking at a video that boy TCA did, man. He did a video about that, man. Like, these people in their churches singing prayer, talking about we worship the non-binary God. But I told you before, man, when you are idolater, you're going to make a God in your own image. And see, this is the thing which y'all don't realize, man, and understand, right? In ancient antiquity, they made gods with the work of their own hands, right? In the image of man. Now they create God with their own hands, but in the image of their thoughts. They don't construct idols as forms with hands and bow down and worship them. They construct idols with ideas that they worship in their heart. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember that. Idolatry ain't the same as what it was a couple millennials ago. Yeah, do you have some people who bow down and worship physical? You say he ain't too far from you, man? Yeah, I was just telling, he did a video. I would tell him, try that, man. He did a video about Ron Dalton. He was talking about them hand signals, man. I don't really get caught up with the boys doing hand. You know what I'm saying? Because It's people who know some of these people, man, and we already know. I would tell the trap, it's not that these niggas necessarily devil worshippers. I can't say that because I don't know these men. So I can't sit back and say a nigga Mason because I seen him throw a hand sign up. Because now I'm bringing a false report and I'm trying to raise a multitude to run after bad information. I can't do that.
And I ain't off that. I don't know people personally that do that.
What's that?
That like all that.
Yeah, I
know
don't
niggas who do that personally.
What's that?
Like the hand signs and all that.
What?
And I ain't saying people doing it on purpose or not, but people who
well, he's saying if they throwing up these hand signs in public platforms,
they doing it on purpose.
They doing it on purpose,
right?
Which I can't say that they are or they aren't.
Neither. But people who I know not affiliated with none of that, they don't do it at all. Like I don't know nobody who really do that.
No, not on purpose. Now I'm not. Now I'm
not at all.
Now to be objective, because I know what the man talking about. Niggas so far removed from that type of information, I don't give a damn. Right, but if a nigga's on the video and you can tell that he purposely, I'm looking at you, bro. You did that on purpose. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? They is. But I can't say that he is XYZ because I don't have any facts to back that up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But I can say I seen what you did. Yeah. It looked kind of odd. But I would tell the trap, for me, it ain't the hand signs, it's they work is trash. That's more dangerous than the hand signs. They're not flashing the hand signs because Satan told them teach this. They were teaching that trash before they did that.
That's why I ain't respect what he did on Jesus. But that's all he really was saying. The hand signs.
Yeah.
He couldn't really say what he was saying.
You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to have one tonight by Gorilla Hebrew. I'm gonna get me a good life. Now let me clarify this here though. TCA don't say nothing about these people. Let me say that. He just let these people words speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I say a lot of them do that stuff. You got to be down with that, with what they got going on to be balling. But see, a lot of them ain't even balling. Oh, the Jesse Lee one is hilarious. That nigga say, Jesse Lee, you're running like a chicken. Like the well, Jesse Lee walked in the street and kept on going. Ah! That white man say, go on and tell him how you touched me. That man say, I was with you for 11 years. My son put you on a pedestal. I didn't know the nigga never been married. He got 2 kids though, but he never been married. Jesse Lee ain't never been married. Yeah, he pulled a card by being a punk. You know what I'm saying? But again, all he doing is putting clips together of these people's own words. And then, hey, man, you like now I would tell the trap, if one clip he put together about Ron Dalton, it wasn't right. Because he made it seem like that he was being hypocritical about believing in the Mashiach. But what he said was, I don't care if you don't have to believe in the New Testament in Christ, but you can't deny that we Israelites. That's the point that he was trying to make. Then he played another clip of him saying that he believed in the Mashiach. I'm like, yeah, that's not cool, because he's not saying you don't have to. He was saying that even if you don't, you can't say that we're not these people. Because that's his whole mission. That's all he cared about. Yeah, that's why it works track. You know what I'm saying? Works track. But you know, it is what it is. You know, like I said, man, TCA put that stuff together, you determine for yourself. But like you said, now there is no denying. And Quran said, a lot of them boys like, yeah, you doing that on purpose. You're doing that on purpose. Because most people don't talk with their hands like this. Like this here, most people don't talk like that. Like you just sitting here talking all of a sudden, you ain't even being subtle. It's bam, 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 back to back, or you holding it. Don't nobody talk like that. He got a sponsor.
He's saying they sponsored.
That's what he's saying. All I'm saying is I can't definitively say that off a hand sign because I had to see you in a Mason hall. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got to say you want. Because if I say that and you not, I just condemn myself. Yeah. But I know I might want to, might want to watch him. But then again, most of the people he putting on that man, you couldn't pay me to listen to them niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not seriously.
No, not seriously. Shoot, not even impromptu. Not even what's the word? Not even informally. Because I'm not listening to Ron Dog. No disrespect. I don't want to hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I done heard Pastor Dow. He trashed me. Personally. You know what I'm saying? Chunk's trash. The Chunk's weak. Chunk booty hole. You know what I'm saying? First time I heard him was on my man Sal debate talk for you, man. I said, man, this nigga, he was trash. Because they were talking about polygyny. I said, yeah, I'm good. Only thing that's worth looking at him is when he do his videos in the office because he entertaining. And I don't want to be entertained. I can entertain myself in the gym. Come on, man.
Uncleanliness is akatharsia, impurity, uncleanliness.
Greediness.
Greediness is flexonia. It says avarice, fraudulentity, extortion, covetousness, and greediness.
When you look at that, avarice is just another way to say somebody malicious. You know what I'm talking about? But then it said injustice, right? This is somebody who oppresses. Because remember, the definition for oppress a lot of the times is violence or injustice or unjust deeds. You know what I'm saying? You're doing things out of ungodliness. Remember, that's what I told you. Because like this here, right? How capitalism is done in America by most people, bro, that junk is unjust. And they know it's unjust. You know what I'm talking about? They just don't really care. They just don't really care. But at the same token, you have to look at it like this here. If you covenanted with a man for X amount of dollars, you ain't turn around and say he ain't paying you enough. Because remember, you got that with the Lord. That's what you agreed to him. He said, am I an unjust man because I did this here with you? You would have to know to say, nah, I don't want to be paid that, brother. I'm not agreeing to that. But then, of course, you know, on the flip side, they got us in a system to where if you don't, you're probably going to starve. Because we know for a fact that wages haven't met inflation in 30, 40 years. I just seen a real estate dude I know, man. He showed that $1 million in 1993 is $2 million today. That means you lost the entirety of your money in 30 years. That's what people don't understand when you talk about inflation. That means whatever money you got, cut it in half. So if you got 100 bands, you actually got 50. If you got $1 million, you got $500,000. If you got 10,000, you got $5,000. That's what that means, man. And it ain't getting no better. Not how these people moving and grooving. But again, what is that purpose to do? The purpose is and the purpose ain't for what most of us think it is. The purpose is to keep you in bondage to the world. That means if your mind is on the world and the things of this life and the cares and affairs of this life and the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, then the love of the Father can never dwell in you. See, we look at it in other aspects, you know what I'm talking about? And all those aspects are valid. But the number one aspect is to keep you in bondage to the world. Because as long as you worry about how much money you can make or how much money you got to make or you got to pay for this or pay for that, you'll never be in bondage to Mashiach. You'll always be the world slave. And that's what they want. They want you away from God. Care about that other stuff. Get 1 John 2 and 15 on the house. Make it 2 and 12. Muffin, man. You go to school now, boy? Who that is on your socks? That's a pink dog? Who is that? Who that is on your socks, cuz? Man, you took them off. Who that is on your feet, man? There's a roach on your foot. That nigga look.
Hey, all smiles off.
Oh, boy. 1 John 2 and 15.
I write unto you, little children, because your sins are forgiven you for his name's sake.
2 and 12. Go ahead.
I write unto you, fathers, because you have known him from the beginning. I write unto you, young men, because you have overcome the wicked one. I write unto you, little children, because you have known the Abba. I have written unto you, fathers, because you have known him from the beginning. I have written unto you, young men, because you are strong, and the word of Alahym abide in you. You have overcome the wicked one. Love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Abba is not in him.
If you love the world, the love of who?
The Abba is not in you.
Love of the Father not in you.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
The lust of the what?
Lust of the flesh.
The lust of the what?
Lust of the flesh.
And the lust of the what else?
Of the eyes.
And what else?
The pride of life.
It's of the what?
Not of the Abba.
It's of the what?
Of the world.
What did he say after that?
The world pass away.
The world do what?
Pass away.
The world do what?
Pass away.
Did we just read that in Revelation 21? The world pass away? What did he say right here though?
And the lust thereof.
And the lust with it, going with it.
But he that do the will of Alahym
live for what?
Abide forever.
That's why you got to have the word so you can live forever. because the lust of this life are going to go away. And that's, see, I told you now, you cannot be ignorant of Satan's devices. He used your desire for more money, more status, bigger house, bigger car to keep you in bondage to that which is going to pass away. He knows that. That's a form of his oppression. You looking at the oppression from the natural side of things. I'm looking at it from the spiritual side of things. I know what he's doing. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why I can have a perspective. I can go out here and do X, Y, Z, but at the end of the day, I don't give a damn about none of this because it's irrelevant. It's going to pass away. He told you that in Isaiah. He said, look at the heavens above and the earth beneath. The heavens going to vanish away like smoke, and the earth going to wax old like a garment, and everything in between going to die in like fashion. So that means if everything in between die in like fashion, just like with the flood, that means all your lust, all your pride, all your cares, all your thoughts, it's dying with it. See, that's why he coming through, killing everybody, because everything that's evil, wicked, and contrary to God will be extinguished. It cannot enter into the Malkuth for Shamahim. Can't happen. Why you think with Gog and Magog, before the kingdom of heaven come down, he get killed. And Satan get tossed in because y'all can't come in here. Y'all can't bring that in here with you. That's got to die. You understand? That's why he told you don't sow amongst the thorns. You can't sow that seed amongst the thorns and expect fruit to grow. Any of y'all ever planted some food and it got caught up in some thorns? You'd have to explain that because I ain't never seen it in person.
You said it get caught up.
You know, you dropped the seed and the seed grew up amongst the thorns. What happened to the tree? It just wither away.
Stop growing and die.
Just stop growing and die. Let me tell y'all something, right? When you look at Yahuwah say he do what? He lift up his right hand and his left hand and he say what? He live forever. So that means if he live forever, he is continually producing. Is that a safe assumption? So if he's continually producing, and then you turn around and you look at when Adam produced, because that's why I told you that Devin Franklin said was the dumbest thing in the world, and only simp niggas and stupid hoes would go along with it. Talking about the woman wasn't broken to man. You damn fool. The woman wasn't created. She came out of man. How is that which is created by God broken and you came out of that which was created by God? God didn't create the woman. He created the man. He took the woman out of the man. That means you were born. He was made. You see how that worked? How man gonna lift himself up above Yahuwah when Yahuwah wasn't born? You came out of Yahuwah. Yahuwah didn't come out of you. I told you when you say that, you saying Yahusha broke it. Because didn't he cut him in the side? But he didn't close his up. That means he's continually producing. So when you turn around and you look at the fruits of the Ruach, that's a continual production. You're continually producing faith. You're continually producing joy. You're continually producing love. You're continually producing long suffering. You're continually producing meekness. You're continually producing self-control. That means if against such there is no law, that means you're continually producing life. That means because why? Because Yahuwah can't die. And if his Ruach is present, then you're continually producing that which is life. It's very simple to understand.
I always look at that parable as far as like what the weed says. You having to remove the weeds and stuff that will choke it out so that it can continue to bear fruit.
Remember, the tares is black-hearted kernels. Huh? Go over here, Matt. Go to Matthew 13. That's where it's at. Y'all over there whooping them children? You get weeds growing in your vegetable gardens, which even look the same as the plant. Shoot, sometimes they take up the nutrients in the soil that the plant would need to grow. You need to get them out so the plants grow well. Now, see, there's a difference between weeds and sowing amongst the thorns. See, the weeds would be the thorns because it's choking off the tree. You know what I'm saying? The tares look like the kernels on the tree. You think it's a good kernel, but you won't know till you pluck it and you got to throw it away.
That was the one that was referring to the harvest and one referring to
the seed itself.
So
You know what I'm saying?
The
So you got
the sowing and the harvest is harvest.
Yeah, you got two different things.
Yeah.
So remember, he said the seed is the word of Alahym, and then he begins to describe the type of ground that the seed falls in. You know what I'm talking about? So when he tell you in Jeremiah, don't sow amongst the thorns, and then he tell you the seed that fall in amongst the thorns, the cares and affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches, that's the weeds. Right. Like you said, it's taking up the nutrients.
You put seeds in ground where weeds are.
It's going to choke it off. You ain't going to be able to do nothing. 13 and 18, Matthew. Hey, boy.
Hear you therefore the parable of the sower.
When anyone
hear the word of the Malkuth and understand not,
then come who?
The wicked.
And do what?
Catch away that which was sown in his heart.
This is the seed what?
Received by the wayside.
This is something a lot of people don't want to accept. You got some people, when they hear the word, they don't understand it, because a lot of people like, man, I hit people with the info. They don't want to accept it. Most of y'all done hit your people out. They deceived by the wayside. They don't understand it, and Satan gonna come through and take that seed away. Go ahead.
But he that receives seed into stony places, the same as he that hear the word and anon with joy receive it.
Yeah, he have no what?
Root in himself.
What else?
But door for a while.
And tribulation
or persecution arise because of the word.
He's what?
Offended.
And he that also receive
seed among the thorns
is he that hear what?
The word
and the care
of the world
and the deceitfulness
of riches.
Do what with the word?
Choke the word.
And he become what?
Unfruitful.
That means you can't produce the joy, the peace, the long. You can't produce none of it. That's why he just told you in that 1 John, you can't love the world, neither the things in the world, because the love of the world is the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the lust thereof pass away. I don't think we realize that your lust will choke off the word, because what did we talk about the other night? They enmity against one another. They are diametrically opposed to each other. They don't meet in the same place at the same time. They're not in agreement. You can't be spiritual and carnal at the same time. You're either going to be spiritual or you're going to be carnal, but you can't be both. You either going to have your mind in heaven or you're going to have your mind on the earth. Colossians 3:1. You can't have both. Hey, boy. It's muffled.
It said, if ye then be risen with the Mashiach, seek those things which are above, where the Mashiach sit on the right hand of
He said,
Alahym.
seek things where?
Seek things which are above.
Seek things where?
Which are above.
Seek things that are eternal.
That are above.
That are eternal. When he's telling you to seek that which is above, he's telling you to seek that which lives forever. That can't be destroyed. That's what he's telling you to look after. What we looking for? Fiat currency, money, cars, and clothes. I'm talking about as a whole. I ain't talking about just black people. I'm talking about people in general that are not in abject poverty. Because people in abject poverty just think about where I'm eating tomorrow. Like I say, now see, there's a difference too, man. A lot of people ain't never been in abject poverty, and they don't understand the mindset that go to people with abject poverty, and why when they get a little something, they act the way that they act. Some of y'all ain't never been in a position where your stomach was touching your back as a child. I ain't even talking about as an adult, because that's different. I'm talking about as a child. That's the memory you got. You wonder why some people hustle so hard or work so hard or do this, that, and the third, because they remember them days when that refrigerator talked back to them when they said hello. They remember them days where it wasn't nothing in there but with some doggone condensed milk, and they eating out a pot of eggs and rice for a week and a half. They know what it's like to look at a commercial for some food and their mouth go to water and wishing I could go in there, going in the corner store, stealing all them people's snacks. Niggas looking at you. Your homeboy know you ain't got no food at the house. He telling you come to my house. He know he ain't directly telling you can come over there and you can eat, but he know you hungry. Shoot, nigga. You ever had a homeboy and both his parents smoke crack? You know what type of life that is, man? That's tough right there. You know what I'm talking about? I had a few homeboys. That was a reality. Both your people smoke crack. Nobody give a damn about you. Hell, do you even know what it's? Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Man, some people, man, they grow up, boy, knowing that nobody don't even give a damn about them. Don't care if they eat. Don't care where they slept. Don't care if they alive. Don't care if they bathe. Don't care nothing about them. Yeah, that's what you got going. You got people out here, man. That's their reality, man. Most of y'all people loved you. You ever ran across a nigga, boy, ain't nobody loved him? I say that because we can get caught up in our own life experiences and perspective, and that's why you can't understand the perspective of others. That's another part of the reason why he takes you through affliction and suffering, so you can be able to relate to other people, to be merciful and compassionate to them. How you gonna know how to be merciful to somebody else if you ain't never been put in a position where you needed somebody to have mercy on you? You ain't gonna know. Don't the book say that he went through these things so we can have a faithful and merciful high priest? Don't the book say who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way? He became out of the way just to have compassion on you. That's why when I run across dudes, man, they be selling out. I don't care. Yeah, I preach the word, bro. I ain't got no problem with street niggas. Street niggas all right with me. I understand they struggle. I know they pain. I know what they going through. I also know some of them niggas evil as hell, and you got to let them be what they gonna be. You know what I'm talking about? I know what you've been through. I know what them freak hoes been through. I was friends with a lot of them. A lot of they freak hoeing don't come from just the fact that her loins is burning. It's underlying issues where that stuff come from. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of them don't love themselves. And it's because ain't nobody love them. I promise to you, boy, it's a lot of people, boy, but the only love they know how to have to go off on is none at all. They don't know how to go off on love because ain't nobody never loved them. They don't know the love of God. They don't know the love of a father. They don't know the love of a mother. They don't know the love of a sibling. They don't know the love of a spouse. They don't know love at all. Then you got people who think they know love, but really they don't love nobody but themselves. Go ahead, man. Muffin, Nia. Where you Muffin.
Set your affections on things above, not the things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with the Mashiach and Alahym. When the Mashiach, our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in esteem. Mortify therefore your members.
Do what with your members?
Mortify.
Kill them.
With your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanliness, inordinate affection.
That's good. That's good. Quran say, man, his friend's mom was a heroin addict. His grandma raised him. Too many of y'all know people who their grandparents raised them. Where you was at, Sid?
Matthew 13.
Yeah, we good in that. Oh, hold on.
I know you called for John 3 a while ago.
We don't need it. I mentioned it. You can come to Matthew 13 and 36.
That's definitely what I was reading. It said, then Yahusha sent the multitude away and went into the house, and the disciples came unto him, saying, declare us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said,
tell them what a tare is.
The tares is a darnel or a false grain.
A false grain.
Fake word.
Fake word. Everybody, you gotta do the separation of the wheat and the tares. You know what I'm saying? All this goofy stuff this nigga be saying, bro. But a tare is nothing but a fake nigga. A hypocrite, a kanaf, a faithless individual. A flawed nigga, a phony, a capper, if you would. That's what a tear is at the end of the day.
Yeah. But see, in this purple soil already had sown seed into good ground.
In the good ground.
And nigga came behind and put tares in the good ground.
And put the seed of the tares in the ground with it.
Yeah.
See, come back over there and look what he said, right? Because he say it's the enemy that sowed these.
Yeah.
Oh, he finna tell you. Verse 37.
It say, and he answered and said unto him, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
So what is the good seed? It's the word, because the seed is the word of Alahym. Go ahead.
The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
The children of the devil. Go ahead.
The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world.
How the enemy that sold them is the devil? What were they sold? They were sold on deception. Because he said there's a liar, and when he speak of a lie, he speak of his own.
Mm-hmm. So
it's both of them are sold by a word. One sold by the word of God, and one sold by the lies of the devil.
That's it.
So they don't want to talk about that. Nigga was like, you're an agent. That's a favorite nigga line. You're an agent. You goofy niggas ain't never seen an FBI agent. Well, I can tell you one thing, boy. An FBI agent ain't finna be on Facebook arguing with you niggas. You know what I'm talking about? See, they put them out there to so confusion. You got to actually have something going on for them people to do that. You actually got to have a movement going on where you worth doing that. And if you worth doing that, you ain't on Facebook arguing with it. I can tell you that right now. You not. Everybody's as soon as somebody says he's an agent, nah, that nigga's a troll. People throw that around. Remember, Tony got upset about that? That boy from Minnesota called him an agent. Boy, Tony was ready to fight. The Australian boy, he was ready to fight. Called me. He got more mad than the nigga. He called me the police. You call somebody an agent, boy, you done called me the police. Boy, you call the right person from the right neighborhood the police, boy, that man gonna ask you to come see him, man. Real, man. That's good, man. What else you got to say? Ephesians 4. That's my hat. That's my hat. Why you got my hat? Give me Ephesians 4 and 17 again. Get tired of it. Ain't no swiping. That's call us. We got a loan.
It said, "This I say, therefore, and testify in the Master, that ye henceforth walk not as the other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having understanding darkened and being alienated from the life of Alahym through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feeling have given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanliness with greediness. But ye have not so learned the Mashiach."
You ain't learned that from the Lord.
"If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught of him, as the truth was in the Mashiach, or in Yahusha, that ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man." Which
put off the what?
The former conversation.
The former conduct of the who man?
Of the old man.
What else?
Which is corrupt.
It's what?
Corrupt.
That conduct is corrupt. It's defiled. It's decayed. It's death.
According to deceitful lust.
And that conduct is according to your lust that deceive you. Ain't that what Paul said? My lust deceived me. Or sin deceived me. That's what happened with Eve. It wasn't so much, and I told you that's how Satan worked. He deceived you with your own desires because your desires are lying to you. If you stay in the Ruach of Alahym, you ain't gonna get lied to, because we know one thing that's impossible for Alahym to do, and that's tell a lie. The Ruach will never lie to you. He said the Ruach is true. But if you in your flesh, if you in the world, then your lust gonna lie to you, and you just easy pickings for the devil. Come on, man.
And be renewed in the Ruach of your mind.
Be what?
Renewed in the Ruach of your mind.
Be what?
Renewed in the Ruach of your mind.
Man say, tell him what renewed means, man.
Renewed is Hamun. That is to renovate and reform.
Renovate. Huh? You got to fix and flip your brain.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's saying.
You know what I'm saying? You got to rehab your mind.
That's what it's saying.
You got to gut it out. You know what I'm saying? You got to knock them walls down, put up some new drywall. You got to demo them cabinets, put some new ones in. You're going to have to chip that tile out, put some new tile in. You can't use that cast iron tub. Put a new one in. You know what I'm talking about? It's old and out of date. Look at that musty carpet. Pull that carpet up and put that plank down. You know what I'm talking about?
Master builder.
Master builder. That's why he told you that.
Yeah,
wise master builder.
That's what he said.
And upon this rock, I'm going to build my house. And a wise woman build the house of her husband. So get that damn chisel. You know what I'm talking about? I'll rebuild it in 3 days, man. What you talking about? Boy, we already got the blueprint.
Updated and renovated.
Updated and renovated, man. We got the blueprint. People don't realize Yahusha is the blueprint, because Yahuwah is the blueprint. That's why he say, do it according to the pattern I gave you in the mount, and stop doing it like you want. He was very explicit with Moses with that. Do it according to the pattern I showed you in the mount. Stop trying to build stuff how you want to build it. Ain't nobody asked you to do that.
What is saying?
Hey, what else we got? Back to Romans 6. You can pick them up in verse 10.
For in that he had died unto sin once, but in that he live unto Alahym. Likewise, reckon ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin, But to live unto Yahusha HaMashiach live unto Alahym through Yahusha HaMashiach, our master. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body.
Don't let sin reign in your mortal body.
That ye shall obey it in the lust thereof.
Don't obey it.
Neither yield ye yourself as members of instruments of unrighteousness.
Don't let your body be used to work unrighteousness.
To sin. But yield yourself unto Alahym as
so if
those
telling
that
you
are alive.
They're telling what yield mean there. He said, yield yourselves to Alahym as somebody who is alive.
Stand beside, to substantiate, to assist, aid.
To be a helpmeet.
That would say.
You see how that go back to what we were talking about in Proverbs 31? The woman's supposed to be the helpmeet to the man, and the man supposed to be a helpmeet to the whatever Yahuwah wants you to do. See, that's what people's problem is. You don't want to be a helpmeet. You want to be the leader. How you going to lead God? You know what Paul said about one time, man, in Corinthians, man? He said, don't we got power to lead about a wife, a sister? The problem is, most of the women in this world, they don't want to be led by nobody unless it's a financial benefit that they're going to get. At that point, what the hell I want you for? You know what I'm talking about? If your service is contingent on a particular benefit that you deem worthy, then what the hell I'm following you for? And it's the only reason why this is important. That's why I shared that video with the nigga we were talking about last night with $1 million worth of femininity. You know what I'm talking about? Because you would have to say, if you asking a man for a certain amount of money to be made, then how much money relative to femininity is he getting in return? You know what I'm talking about?
I made sure that was true.
Because it's the same token when you're dealing with you. You want a certain level of benefit from it. What manner of godliness is he getting back in return? What y'all niggas got going on? How you set you up for faith?
Put the phone on charge and put it on the other.
Hey man, the Apple turned on. I put the phone down. That Apple show up. It's charging.
Now this ain't nothing but for us to consider, man. He said Mashiach is the head of the man, and the man is the... Indeed, it is. But you know, we talking about just a certain type of perspective. You understand what I'm telling you? Because a lot of us want to lead God. You don't want to be a helpmeet to him. How you will help me to Yahuwah? By fulfilling his will. What he told Peter, he said, man, go feed my sheep. What he gonna do? What is that to you? If I tell him to occupy till I come, what that do? Go do what I told you to do. That's gonna benefit me. Stop worrying about what he gonna do. That's none of your concern. An apostle ain't worried about what a prophet doing, because that's not his job. His job is to do what he told him to do, to be a helpmeet to his husband. A lot of brothers don't want to be no helpmeet. A lot of people don't want to be no helpmeet, period. Now, why would you do that? Wait, where are you going? There's a toll to come through these parts. Hey, where are you going? There's a toll to come through these here parts. And you let them niggas walk right past you. You supposed to be the ogre.
Exactly.
Who? The men always guarded the gate on the Sabbath and all. Yeah, I know it. He ain't on duty. This man ain't no watchman. This man's a fraud. Go ahead, man. Ephesians 4, man. Oh, your phone died too?
His phone on.
Dang, bro, that nigga stood up all his knees out.
Is it on, Civic?
Dang it, that nigga ain't got no knees. That nigga just went from shin to quad. I appreciate that, guy, sir.
It's not cutting on, brother.
He said you blame him. It's your phone that's the problem.
I mean, it was just on, so.
Oh, it's Abigail. Say hi, Abigail.
I get a charger. My charger?
Phone right. Come on, man. Y'all holding up progress.
I'm here. I'm present.
I need Ephesians 4 and 20.
Okay. It say, but ye have not so learned the Mashiach, If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught of him, as the truth is in Yahusha, that ye put off concerning the former conversation of the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the ruach of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which is after Alahym, and is created in righteousness and true kadosh.
That's good. And true kadosh. Now, where do we need to go? What else? What was you holding to?
Before that was Ezekiel 18.
We good with that.
Then Isaiah 65, Ezekiel 9.
We good with all of those.
Yes or not? No.
All right. So we went through all of those things. We discussed all of those things. Now I think it's time to go back. Is it, Joe? I want Psalms 107. I was going to do Psalms 107 today. Do I want to do Psalms 107 today? What we want to do? You know what we want to do? We want to do we want to do Psalms 111 first. Psalms 111. Go ahead.
It say, praise ye Yahuwah, and I will praise Yahuwah with whole heart and the assembly of the upright in the congregation. The works of Yahuwah great, sought out of all them that have pleasure therein. His work honorable and esteemed. His righteousness endureth forever. He hath made the wonderful works to be remembered. Yahuwah gracious and full of compassion. He has given meat unto them that fear him.
He gave him
meat unto them that fear him.
He gave you the bread of life from Mashiach to those that reverence him.
He will ever be mindful of his covenant.
He won't forget it.
He have showed his people the power of his works.
He showed the people the what?
Power of his works.
He showed the people the what?
The power of his works.
Pause for a second. I think it's Job 6 that I want from that verse. Let me see. Could be Job 36.
Fair.
Yeah. Job chapter 36, verse 22. Job 36 and 22.
It says, behold, Alahym exalted by his power, who teaches like him?
Who teach like him?
Who have enjoined him in his way? Or whom can say, you have wrought iniquity?
Give him enjoin.
Enjoin. Pakad, to visit, to muster, to oversee, to care for, to take charge.
Who's taking charge of his way? That's what it said. Who's done this? John 14 and 1 said. I only mention that because what did we talk about last night? What did it say? What did Abigail tell David that he would surely become?
A sure house.
A sure house. He said he'll set a priest over his house that it would be a what? Sure house. Come on, man.
Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in Alahym.
Believe also in me.
In my Abba's house are many mansions.
Are many who?
Many mansions.
Many who?
Many mansions.
Okay.
If not, I would have told you.
I would have told you.
I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you into myself.
That's right.
That where I am, you may be also. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas said unto him, Master, we know not where you go, and how can we know the way?
What's the way? What
Yahusha said unto him, I am the way.
He's the Darak,
the truth,
the Amah,
and the life.
And the who?
And the life.
And the Kai at the same time. Hold on. That man say he's the Darak, the Amah, and the Kai. That means you got to walk the way, the faithful way of life to live. You see how it takes us back when he said serve him in sincerity and truth? It has to be a perfect faithfulness. That's why you can't sow your seed amongst the thorns, because you won't be able to serve him in a perfect faithfulness. Also, that seed amongst the thorns take you back to the fig tree. When he came to the fig tree, what he was looking for? That summer fruit. Like it said in Micah, he was looking for that summer fruit. It wasn't no summer fruit on the tree. That man was enraged. What the man came and said after that? He said, man, just let it stay there for a little while. Give it time to produce fruit. If not, after that, cut it down and dung it. That means when that man come across you, that man looking for joy. He looking for peace. He looking for long suffering. He looking for gentleness. He looking for goodness. He looking for meekness. He looking for self-control. He don't find it, he gonna cut that tree down and done it. He gonna curse you and let you wither away. A lot of people don't understand why that parable of the fig tree there. When he coming to you, he looking, remember, because death and life in the power of the what? And those who love it eat the fruit thereof. So guess what? When you love sin or you love the world, then you love death. And you're going to eat the fruit of death, which is fire and the sword. When you love life, that means you love God. You're going to eat the fruit of it. That means you're going to eat the joy, the peace, the long suffering, and all that. It ain't that difficult. People like speak life over yourself. Man, what the hell that even mean? You know them female talking points. You ain't never heard no man walk up and say, speak life over yourself, brother. Nigga be talking about speak life into me. If they ain't speaking the word of Yahuwah, what life they ain't speaking no life in you. That nigga just talking to you.
Positive affirmation, bro.
I don't need no affirmation.
Affirmation.
Mm-hmm. And it was Passover time, not the time of fruit. You got to bear fruit in season and out of season. That's right.
Speak life into me.
As a grown man, if you need somebody to speak life into you and it ain't Yahuwah, you already been failed as a man. Because you should be able to be affirmed in yourself.
So your brother can't affirm you, bro?
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about niggas talking about that. I'm talking about your wife. No, because that's what they're talking about. I need my woman to speak life into me. Nigga, what? Yeah. You'll be grown, rusted behind, looking in the mirror, talking about I make money. I attract money like a moth to a flame. You sound like a bad hoe. Boy, I see people post this and say this and do this. I don't need no affirmations. Daily affirmation. But you know why people like that? Because nobody put that confidence in themselves when they were a child. So they become a man and they need to be affirmed. They need somebody to tell them that they matter. They need to be like, I need to feel needed. I don't need to feel nothing. You know what I'm talking about? I don't give a damn you need me or not. Reason why I say that, because if you feel the need to be needed and then this person rejects you to where you're the point that you don't feel needed, you're going to be destroyed mentally and emotionally because of it. That's why it's dangerous. It's not the fact that, oh, I want to feel needed. Why does a man do you want to feel like somebody needs you? That means there's a deficiency within yourself. You're really operating with what you say? That's that female energy. You're operating with a female spirit. Because that's what a lot of people say, men want to feel needed. No, men don't want to feel needed. Beta male sin mandanas do. You know why? Because if you're a man, you already know what value you bring. So I don't need you to need the value that I'm giving. If you don't see the value in it, then I'm going to remove you out of my life. I don't need you to. That's like saying Yahuwah needs to be needed. He didn't need to be needed. I'm God. What I need to be needed for? That's new age stuff, man. That's them female talking points and niggas pick it up and run with it. Man, she don't even need me, bro. But she don't need you. What the hell she there for? That's like you say you go to Shabbat services and say I don't really need you. Then what you here for? If you don't need them, then slide. See and figure it out on your own. See how that work out for you. You know what I'm talking about? You don't need God. Figure out how you gonna live without him. Then you definitely gonna figure it out when you burn it in hell. I'll tell you that. What's your problem, grandma? You thirsty? You act like you finna die. You ain't that damn thirsty. You don't do that at school. You sit your happy behind right in that desk, skinning and grinning, coloring and writing and counting or whatever they asking you to do. Huh?
They do. They got
Hey, that's a new thing in the earth. We ain't getting no water bottle. Nigga, you sit your black behind that nigga and you do this 2 + 2. Shoot, nigga, we barely went to the water fountain. I told you they turned soft. Nigga sitting here crying about some damn water. Nigga, we be outside for 17 hours with no water. Nigga, I live in an apartment complex. I ain't had no water.
Speaking on everybody.
Okay, that's what you want to tell yourself. That's what you want to tell yourself. Nigga,
I said we was in apartment. Every apartment had a speaker.
it wasn't no speakers in Mayfair. I can tell you that right now.
I ain't never been there. It probably wasn't like the cold
Look at you, nigga. You still just go outside, nigga. Go outside. Soak up that air. Catch the vapor that come out the sky. It will quench your thirst. That nigga ain't relieved. Look how she looking right now. You were thirsty? You weren't thirsty. You were thirsty, grandma? And why do you still look like that? Grandma. You cat. Come on. Grandma.
Yahusha said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come unto the Abba but by me. If you had known me, you should have known my Abba also. And from henceforth you know him and have seen him. Philip saith unto him, Master, show us the Abba.
That's good. Come on back to Psalms 111 and what? 5?
Job.
Oh, no. Job 36 and what verse is it? Give me 22 again.
Yes, sir.
Behold, Alahym have exalted by his power who teaches like him. Who have
Hold on, pause. He exalt by what?
his power.
He exalt by what?
His power.
He lift up by his power. That means he lift up men by his ruach. That's why that Hebrews 12 come into play. Come on with it, Civic. 12 and 5.
And you have forgotten the exhortation which speak unto you as unto children. My son, despise not you the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when you are rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loved, he chastened.
Whom the Lord loved, he what?
He chastened.
What else?
And scourged every son whom he received.
What else?
If you endure chastening, Alahym deal with you as with the sons.
As with what?
As with sons. For what son is whom the Abba chastened not? But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons.
Understand, right? He told you to buy the truth and sell it not. What else did he told you to acquire? Instruction or chastisement, discipline and rebuke. You can't get understanding without chastisement. If there's no Musar, there's no understanding. Where there's no understanding, there is no kingdom of Alahym. When you preach the things concerning Yahusha HaMashiach, you have no choice but to preach chastisement. Come on.
Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected, and we gave reverence.
You had fathers in your flesh that corrected you, and you gave them respect.
Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Abba of Ruach and live?
So you don't want to yield to the Abba and Ruach and live? You don't want to yield to his correction?
You
don't want to be his helpmeet? Come on.
For they truly for a few days chastened after their own pleasure, but he for profit, that we might be partakers of his kadashness. Now, no chastening for the present seemed to be joyous, but grievous.
But what?
But grievous.
What else?
Nevertheless, afterward it yield the peaceable fruit of righteousness.
Yield the who?
The peaceable fruit of righteousness.
So that peaceable fruit of righteousness, tell them what yield. Let's see what yield is.
Yes, it delivers to give away for one's own profit what is one's own to sell.
To sell.
It restores, it rewards, it yields.
To yield, it produces. See how you eat the fruit thereof? Go ahead.
And unto them which are exercised thereby. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet.
That's good. He said, man, stop crying all the time. Get your soft behind up, man, and tough it out. Come back to Job 36, man. Verse 22 one more time.
It said, behold, Alahym exalt by his power, who teach like him, who have enjoined him his way, or who can say you have wrought iniquity?
Who can say God worked iniquity?
Remember that you magnify his work, which
remember when he
behold.
said, which one of you convinced me of a sin? And if I tell you the truth, why you don't believe?
All right.
Come on.
Remember that you magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it. Man may behold.
He said he magnifies who?
He magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it man may behold afar off.
He said that man may behold afar off. Didn't Psalms 1:11-6 say he showed his people the power of his works? So where you can see that at? I'll tell you. Matthew 27:50.
Yahusha, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the Ruach, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the Kadash city, and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Yahusha saw the earthquake and those things that were done,
what they said? They
feared greatly, saying, truly, this was the son of Alahym.
Is them not him showing the people, his people, the power of his works? Is them not read that Job 36 again?
It say every man may, or say, remember that you magnify his work, which man behold, every man may see it, man may behold it afar off.
That they might behold it afar off. Let's take it a step further. Revelation 1-3. Let's take it a step further.
Baruch he that read, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time at hand. John to the 7 assemblies which are in Asia, mercy unto you and shalom from him which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 ruachs which are before his throne, and from Yahusha HaMashiach, the faithful witness, the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood.
He washed us from our what?
Our sins in his own blood.
What did he say her and her household were clothed in?
Scarlet.
That come from that what? That bug, right? Yeah, make that die, that good blood. Come on.
And have made us kings and priests unto Alahym and his Abba, and to him esteem and dominion forever and ever.
That's right.
Behold, he come with clouds, and every eye shall see him. With clouds.
And every eye gonna what?
Shall see him.
Every eye gonna what?
See him. And they which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him.
See how that works?
Even so.
Amen. Come back to Job 36.
It said, behold, Alahym great, and we know not, neither can number his years, or that neither can we number of his years be searched out. For he makes small the drops of water, they pour down rain according to the vapor thereof.
He makes small drops of who?
Of water.
He makes small drops of who?
Water.
And they make them do what?
Drop down rain.
Drop down who?
Rain.
I know y'all know what this means then, don't you?
According to the vapor thereof.
According to the who?
The vapor thereof.
Tell them what vapors is, man.
Fog, mist, vapor.
A fog, a mist. Genesis chapter 2, man, verse 5. After Genesis chapter 2, verse 5, Hosea 6:1. Matter of fact, before Hosea 6:1, Numbers 24:4. But right now, Genesis 2:5.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for Yahuwah Alahym had not caused it to rain upon the earth.
He caused it not to what?
Rain upon the
he
earth.
Caused it not to what?
Rain upon the earth.
Give me the word rain with the characters with it. Hey, y'all late too loud, children. I'm tired of hearing your voice. I don't even want to hear you breathe.
That is matar. That is to rain, to be rained on or upon, to send rain.
What you got? Mean,
Tet, and Rosh.
What you got for Mean, Tet, and Rosh with this rain? Mean, Tet, and Rosh. What you got?
Contained by the rock of the highest.
That just simply means you've been indwelled with the Ruach of Alahym. So he got to send rain for you to be indwelled with the Ruach of Alahym. So let's look at Numbers 24:4.
It say, he has said, which heard the words of Alahym, which saw the vision of the Almighty fallen, but having his eyes open. How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Yasharal. As the valleys they are spread forth as gardens by the riverside, as trees of lion aloes, which Yahuwah have planted, as cedar trees besides the water. He shall pour the water out of his buckets.
He shall pour the water out of his what?
His bucket.
He shall pour the water out of his what?
His bucket.
Tell him what a bucket is.
Delete a pail or a jar for watering.
A pail or a jar for watering. Go ahead.
It says, in his seed in many waters, and the king shall be higher than Agag.
His seed is in many what?
Many waters.
Notice how it's that singular seed and many waters. That's why he tell you got to be born of the water and the Ruach. It tell you that in the law. Some people like you stretching that, you spiritualize and spiritualize these nuts. You know what I'm talking about? The man telling you what's going on. A seed can't grow but in water. The word of Alahym can't grow in you without the ruach, which means you got to have a heart of faith or it can't grow. How to see? You ever planted a seed that didn't need no water? How many seeds you know don't need no water? Shoot, a woman's doggone vaginal body secretes secretion for the seed to be able to move to find the egg. It may not be water because it's literally not water, no matter how many euphemisms people like to use. But nevertheless, there is some type of moisture for that seed to be able to come to life. A seed can't come to life if it ain't water.
It is living fluid.
It's mucus. You know what I'm talking about? But that ain't water.
That ain't water.
Definitely not water.
Mist. Vapor.
Ain't no vapor. It's snot.
Moist.
It's not.
Like a vapor.
It's not.
It is.
At the end of the day, vaginal secretion is snot, urine, vaginal discharge.
It's a little water now.
A tad. It's mainly mucus. But you understood the point. That seed needs some moisture. It needs some. It needs some wet.
Right, it's wet. It's fluid.
You drop your seed, drop your watermelon seed in the ground with it, and come back out there looking for a watermelon, and you just found yourself a fool when you go in the house and look in the mirror. Yeah, so
Is it?
why is the sky blue? Why is water wet?
Because it's wet.
Why did Judas grab the Romans while Jesus slept? That was Ghostface wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you ain't know about that. You supposed to be from New York. You supposed to know. You had Wu-Tang pictures on your wall. I finna say that nigga had Ja Rule on the wall.
You had Ja on your wall.
That nigga walking in there, what I do without you?
Hey, man, this nigga ill.
I bet we go out there and mom like, I hated that damn song. Huh? Oh, you listen to both?
He said he was Ja. He was on Ja.
Oh, you told Ja. Damn, you told Ja Rule? That's not what I asked you.
Ja Rule only got commercials.
I ain't chewed Ja Rule before 50 Cent. That nigga Langston bought Vinny Vidi Vici. I said, well, this junk here trash.
But that was the album?
Yeah, that was his first album. They only had one song that was decent. It was a song with Memphis Bleak. And Bleak put it on his album. So I'm like, well, shoot, it wasn't no need to buy yours. And that nigga had a freestyle that was decent that he did off of R. Kelly song. And the song he got with Nas, and that's about where it stopped. And it was really Nas and Ashanti that made that record. That nigga was trash, bro. That nigga was not trash. I mean,
I see why he was getting up.
I ain't never liked him. You know what I'm saying? Ever. Obviously, you didn't even know. I just mentioned his first album. I ain't even talking about the others.
Oh, no.
Because he wasn't singing on his first album.
I don't know nothing about him. So I'm
You know what I'm
listening.
saying? He didn't start singing till he had a song with Christina Milian. That's when he started singing.
But you definitely know a lot about him.
I mean, I'm from the time from the box, Rap City, and all that. They played that nigga records back to back.
I see commercial.
I'm talking about, boy, you could walk in the house, hit BET on, shoot, you wasn't missing Ja Rule.
Put him in the face.
You know what I'm saying? Shoot, if you cut the radio on, my Lord.
Now, that one song, I don't know, but I guess that was I'm Real. I remember that song.
What song?
I'm Real.
Oh, that was a song he did with J-Lo. That's the song that Fat Joe said that was supposed to be his song.
Yeah, that song, they play it
It's legal.
all the time.
You got the keys.
Hey, Malia. Malia said, I don't talk like that. Come on, man. This nigga Joe 36. That was funny. Malia said, I don't talk like that. I said, Mommy, where's Michael? She said, I don't talk like that.
It said, every man may see it and may behold it afar off. Behold, Alahym great. And we know not, neither can number his years be searched out. For he maketh small the drops of water. They pour down rain according to the vapor thereof.
Let's go back to number 24. I forgot about number 24 just that fast.
He have said which heard the words of Alahym, saw the vision of Almighty. Hold on, yeah, the
Dang, I forgot to tell them. Change clothes for the baby.
24.
I can baptize him in a diaper. Come on.
He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed in many waters, and the king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. Alahym brought him forth out of Mizraim. He has, as it were, the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce.
Let's go to what, Psalm 72? Tell me what verse 5 says.
They shall fear you as long as the sun and moon endure throughout all generations. He shall come down like rain upon the mown grass.
He come down like who?
Like rain.
Tell him what rain is again. And tell me what moan is.
Yeah, rain is matar again.
So we got to go through that. That's the indwell with the Ruach Alahym. Moan.
That's gaze, a sharing, a mowing. Sharing, that shared off. That's mown grass or fleece.
A fleece. Now, what should come to your mind when you hear fleece? Don't nothing come to your mind for fleece, Uncle Johnny?
That's the judge. That's what's the name.
Old Navy? You shop at Old Navy? I said shop as in currently.
Yes.
That's why I asked that. Do they even still exist?
She's called the bunch.
No. What y'all think about when you hear fleece?
I said the doing the judge.
Oh, Giddy.
Giddy, there you go. Okay.
I don't know what it is in this text. What the Hebrew word for fleece is. I can't see one of you guys.
That fleece, animal skins.
Yeah, it should be sheep's fleece, sheep's back.
Lahai, if you will.
How you found it? You need me to help you out?
It's the same word.
That's the same word?
Gaze.
What characters you got?
Gamal and Zayn.
Gamal and
What the
Zayn.
word mean, brother?
A sharing or mowing.
Shearing
So
or
it's the same-
or a cutting.
Same as
So if you got Zayn and Gamal, you've seen the cutting of the messenger, the crucifying of the messenger, the mortifying of the messenger, the impaling of the messenger. He only poured the water on those who have been impaled, which is why you got to take up your stake daily and what?
Follow.
Follow.
Come on back. That's all I wanted out of that. Hosea 6:1. Oh,
It say, "Come and let us return to Yahuwah, for he has torn and he will heal us.
he is what?
Torn and he will heal us.
That's right.
He has smitten and he will bind us
He's
up."
killed, but he'll heal. That's what Deuteronomy 32 says. Go ahead.
After 2 days will he revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. And shall we know, then shall we know, we follow on to know Yahuwah is going forth, is prepared as morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as latter, and former rain upon the earth.
The rain that came before and the rain that came after. Come out of Genesis 2 and 5, because we ain't finished that. We ain't get to the midst. You had a rain that started in the beginning. You can look at it, the rain with Noah, or you can look at it, this mist that come out of the ground in Genesis 2.
You want me to start back at verse 5?
Yes, sir. What's up, boy?
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for Yahuwah Alahym had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the
There went
ground.
up a who?
A mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the
Give me the
ground.
word for mist.
That's aid. That's a mist. Aleph and Dalet. Aleph and Dalet.
Aleph and Dalet. The hanging of the heads. The hanging of the sun. The sacrifice of strength. You know what I'm talking about? And how was he a sacrifice of strength? Because he was made perfect through suffering. In his weakness, he was made strong. That's what the book says. See, that's what a lot of people don't realize, especially when you go to talking about getting baptized, that the baptism is a sign of you putting the weakness of the flesh to death to be strong with God. What was that? Psalms 111 and 5. So you steady talking, you can't be listening and talking at the same time and close your legs.
It said he have given meat unto them that fear him. He will be ever mindful of his covenant. He have shown his people the power of his works, that he may give them a heritage of the heathen.
That he might give them what?
The heritage of the heathen.
Tell them what heritage is that, man.
Nakala, something inherited, an heirloom, an estate, and a portion of possession.
He's going to give them the possessions of the heathen, which is referring to the land. Go ahead.
It says the works of his hands, verity and judgment, all commandments sure.
They stand what?
Stand fast forever.
They done in what?
And ever. Done in truth and upright.
He said what?
Redemption to
Tell them what redemption is, man.
Redemption is...
Notice he said he sent redemption to his people, but the people in captivity. So this is a different redemption he talking about.
Produce, distinction, deliverance, and division. Redeem.
He sent them what? Distinction,
deliverance,
and division.
There you go.
A separation.
That's it.
What we talked about the other week, but when he said, I ain't come to bring peace, I came to bring a sword. Said a man at variance. That man said, I sanctified you from other people that you should be mine.
That's right.
That man said, who on your who side?
Stand to the side.
You know what I'm talking about? Step on to the side. I know it's hard for people to understand that, man, but it is a separation when it comes to salvation. It's a separation. How we know it's a separation when it comes to salvation? Because 600,000 people came up out of Egypt, but only 2 got in. Only 2 got in. And that's tough. Go ahead, man. Verse 9, Psalm 111.
It said he has sent redemption unto his people. He have commanded his covenant forever. Kadash and revere his name.
Tell them what reverend is, man, because you know people go by the title reverend, which does not exist.
Fear, revere.
So is your right?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. All he tell you is this man is set apart and respected. Verse 10.
The fear of Yahuwah, beginning of wisdom.
A good understanding.
Have all that do.
His praise.
Endure forever.
See, commandments is not there. See, if you run into IUIC in the street, when you don't agree with them, or you be like, where your friend is at, brother, they be like, a good understanding have all they to do his commandments. Commandments ain't there. Tell them what do is. If you know, it's the word for work. You know what I'm saying?
That's up.
The word for work. So that means what is the work of Alahym? That you believe on him that he has sent. Huh? Meaning that when you see somebody say that's Reverend Johnson, that title doesn't exist. That job doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a reverend. Yeah, that job. That's a made up job. Usually when you see somebody say they're a reverend, they're the person who walk around with that white collar on their shirt. You know what I'm talking about?
I said revere. I thought it said revere. That's what you say reverence. But
First Chronicles 12 and 30. Give me 28, man. This is where we're gonna stop at. First Chronicles 28 and 30. 12 and 28.
You said 28, 12, and 28.
First Chronicles 12 and 28. Stop. Stay still. Or go sit down.
It said, and Zadok, a young man mighty of valor, in his office house 20 and 2 captains. And of the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000. For hitherto the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul. And of the children of Ephraim, 20,800 mighty men of valor, famous throughout the house of their father.
Half the tribe.
of Manasseh.
How many?
18,000.
Which were expressed by what?
By name.
To do what?
To come and to make David king.
See, man, we could take that in a whole nother direction. He said they were expressed by name. Just give express. Stop.
Nakar.
Sit down.
That is to appoint, to bore, to express, to curse, to pierce, to strike through.
What was that first one?
To puncture.
No, the first word. The first
To appoint.
To appoint.
To a point.
What he said, I haven't chosen, you haven't chosen me. I've chosen you and ordained you. You know what I'm talking about? These men were appointed aforetime. Come over here and come make David king also. That's what you look at when you deal with the apostles. They were appointed to make him king. Come on, man. Verse 32. Listen to it.
And the children of Issachar that had understanding of the time.
They had understanding of what?
Of the time.
Understanding of the what?
Of the time.
Why is that important? Keep going.
To know what Yahusha ought to do.
We know. They got understanding of the times to be able to tell Yahusha what they ought to do.
That's right.
And all their brethren, and the heads of them were
200.
And all their brethren
were at the commandment.
Now let's take a look at Matthew 16:1 about having an understanding of the time. Hold on, give me understanding by definition right now.
That's time.
I know time is 8.
That's what it is. It says,
well, what's the understanding?
Understanding is banah.
Insight, discretion, discernment. Come on. Matthew 16:1.
The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from Alahym.
Mm-hmm.
He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky,
but you can't discern
the signs of the time.
Oh, see, these men didn't have an understanding of the times to be able to tell. See, why is that important? What I told you about a couple weeks ago, I tell y'all, every time something happened in the world, niggas like, yeah, boy, we in the last days. Sit your goof behind down somewhere, man. Big goof. They was like, oh, man, you know, the latest thing, I don't see too many people talking about them wildfires. Them people probably started them wildfires to burn up some children. You know what I'm talking about? Because they say they hide how many kids actually died because the alarms didn't go off to warn the people that there was fires going. You know what I'm talking about? And most people got caught with their drawers down and got burnt up in their house, place of work, or school. You know what I'm talking about? Another dude that make videos, man, and you know, he don't really be, he be swearing up and down, he be doing some real live research, but you really don't. But he was saying that the dude that's the chief of police over there happened to be in a prominent position in Las Vegas at the time of the mass shooting that happened there some odd years ago. I don't remember how long ago. Now, I will say this here, that is a hell of a coincidence. There's no denying that. You know what I'm talking about? But from interviews from people who live there, they was like, bro, we ain't get no warning. Just fire. You know what I'm saying? I know my man said it looked like they got vaporized. I think sometimes, man, because we ain't never really seen what fire can do, that we really have a strong underestimation of what would happen to be burned alive. Because most of us, you ain't never seen cars get burned up, houses get burned up. You know what I'm saying? Man, fire is going to destroy everything it come across. That's why he take you through the furnace of affliction so he can destroy everything in you that ain't no good. Sometimes, especially you talking about a wildfire. See, us living in Florida, we kind of know about wildfires, but you ain't never really been close to them. You don't realize how hot them fires get. You know what I'm saying? Now, y'all remember a few years back when the wildfire was going in Clay County and it just had a haze of smoke all on the west side, man. You know what I'm talking about? Well, that fire get hot, boy. I seen a few videos. I only found out it happened because it was in the YouTube mentions. That junk was bad. A lot of them people believe that they started them fires on purpose and let them get out of control. Now, we know down here they do control burns, so they could have been having somebody go down there and kill these niggas. And then, you know, do a nice controlled burn and then let that burn get out of hand. And then as it's raging and raging and raging, it became so large, you know the fire coming, you ain't sending nobody to put it out. And you just let them die. You know what I'm saying? I don't know of any sacrifices that's supposed to went down for the month of August as far as ancient deities is concerned. But all we would have to do is just look up that day and see what. Oh boy, that nigga boo boo, boy. Boo boo. You stink. That's not for babies. He said they use dew weapons to start them. I'm not familiar with those, Brother Craig. You'd have to enlighten me. Any of y'all familiar with dew weapons? DEW weapons?
I see somebody else post something about that this morning.
I don't believe it. So you turn the power off, that started a fire.
She said the power lines fell. And
Well, we don't know what started the fire because we wasn't there. Brother Craig said that's a direct energy weapon.
Halo?
Let's see.
I mean, you know, it's all real, brother. They doing it in the
They did it on the video game. So Halo had it.
energy gun.
Oh, I'm not familiar. So we're gonna see.
It's a dude.
It is direct. Direct energy weapons are defined as electromagnetic systems capable of converting chemical or electrical energy to radiated energy and focusing it on the target, resulting in physical damage that degrades the adversarial capability. Do they exist? Direct energy weapons such as lasers use energy fired at the speed of light. These weapons can produce force that ranges from deterrent to damaging to destructive. Many countries, including the U.S., are researching their use. So it's basically saying that it's a solid projectile, including lasers, microwaves, particle beams, and sound beams. Yeah.
Charge it up.
No, directed energy weapons didn't cause Maui fires.
Laser energy beam?
I mean, they very well could have used that, but at that point, all you could use the beam for was to start a fire.
Yeah, why would you have to do all that to start a fire? It's 100 ways to start a fire.
Because at the end of the day, we talking about starting a fire. Because we can't say they just walked around. You know what I'm saying? No. They could have shot one, but at the end of the day, all it's going to create is fire, and the fire going to do the rest.
Right.
But hell, you can get a nigga in the woods and do that. All you need is some gasoline and a match.
Right.
That's been the most effective way of killing a nigga for years. You want to burn something up?
A lighter.
Because I'm telling you, bro, you control. Some of y'all don't ride that far down Normandy where they building that new Publix act like going toward Baldwin. Man, they burned all them trees up over there. Man, we ride by the other day, just be smoking. And sometimes they do stuff like that and they get out of control. But also they do stuff like that and they doing it on purpose. Because allegedly, it's been people who houses got burned up and people starting to call them, talking about, can we buy your land? Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I wouldn't doubt it, though. Because at the end of the day, if them people going to kill somebody, you better believe it's the money behind it. See, that's my example right there. If that is true, that's an example of the oppression of capitalism when put in the man's hands. I'm going to create a catastrophe for the opportunity to sell low, to buy low and sell high, through violent deeds of injustice to capitalize on your misfortune that I created in the first place. See, that wasn't capitalism. That was man.
If there's only so much land on this island and niggas not coming off of it quick.
And they ain't coming off of it quick.
You got something.
I got something for you.
And niggas who can't get their stuff back,
guess what? And we can kill two birds with one stone and sacrifice the Molech and take this property at the same time. It's a win-win for us.
That's
One of the coastal cities here that we've been trying to buy, and people are like, we ain't selling our houses down here.
But you can tell Hawaii is a place where niggas know
these are
native
native
land. They know to keep it. They're not gonna sell it.
Well, one, it's not a large area.
Right,
For
but
two,
it's not.
a lot of that stuff probably been in families for generations.
Right.
And three, I don't want to move. If I sell my land, that means 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna move off the island.
Yeah.
I don't want to move off the island. So they say, you know what? I'm gonna get you off the island. See, a lot of niggas feel like because what's the name got sold? Hilltop? They gonna gentrify. You ain't got to worry about 45th and Avenue B getting gentrified. I can tell you that right now. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to worry about that. 45th and Moncrief? Moncrief and Avenue B? Ain't no white folks moving over there. I don't care what you build over there. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what niggas don't realize. It has to be an area that white people want to live. Barely. They had a run remove in Springfield when the Super Bowl was here, and it stopped.
Yeah, there's a lot of houses that started and they finished.
Never finished. Number one, and this is the reason why, to be honest with you, in Springfield, it's a historical area. It is a pain to do a rehab over there. It can be very expensive. And people would just rather not. Because in a historical area, you can't change them windows out. You can't do none of that. They got to be the same type of windows. When I say you can't change them out, you can't go find a window that's similar to it. You got to leave it. Meaning that whole structure of that house has to remain the same. See, it's blocks of like that on the Riverside. It's blocks of that in Ortega. And it's damn near all of Springfield. After that, ain't no more historical areas in the city. So a lot of people who flip houses, they don't want to flip over. Like that too, yeah, that Riverside. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to. They don't want to flip over there. They want to, and parts of San Marco also. You know what I'm talking about? But see, San Marco is the same way like the people in Maui. Them people don't sell them houses over there. Hell, they call too damn much. You know what I'm talking about? They allow them to keep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I went out none. They offered the people up the Molek, and we gonna get some money on the back end on top. What are you talking
about? The alarms didn't go off. Dirty.
If the alarms didn't go off, they'll let you know they killed the people.
Yeah, that's a red flag. What they there for? What you mean they ain't go off?
They supposed to hit. That's like saying the shot spotter in the hood don't go off. It's supposed to hear the gunshots and alert the police that somebody been shooting. They ain't go off today.
That stuff ain't work. That stuff work.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? What you was at, man? Where you at?
You doing Matthew 16?
Oh, yeah, we need to finish that out. Wait,
verse 4.
Matthew 16:4.
A wicked and adulterous generation
seek after a what?
A sign.
And what else?
There shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed.
Paul, now y'all willing, we'll come back Wednesday and go into that a little further. And that's understanding the time that Yahusha would know what to do. And we'll have to look at certain instances where individuals understood the time, meaning that they had insight into the text to know what to tell the people to do, which means they had to be down with Yahuwah in the first place. Mm-hmm. But hallelujah for Yahusha in the word. We finna get ready to slide on out of here. We got an immersion to go do. So y'all willing? We catch you on the next one. Bless out the house, Alahym in the name of Yahusha. Remember, September 5th is the deadline for trumpets. $125 for families, $85 for singles. Y'all willing, man? We'll be back on Wednesday. Make it do what it do. Yeah, that's right.